Hey guys, welcome back to the reality kingdom where we put the real in reality or whatever. Period.
Period.
Hey.
What up, Kaiser?
You missed the last episode. Case is gone. We're in the jury
We
now.
got his minions.
Uh-huh.
We are. We're in the
Minions?
Jedi phase.
We'll
Bitches
see.
was his sons.
That is correct. So we are in the jury phase now, as I aforementioned, and we are now here to talk about the games of James and Howie, two more fallen BB6 members. They're dropping like flies, it seems. It seems that their lease is over. How are you guys feeling about the season now that we're into this is week 7, I think.
Yeah, this is 7 weeks of just Dr. Will showing these bitches how to play Big Brother. He just got to running the game, and it's like you got people like James who could, in theory, thinks they're running the game, but he's just not doing it. It all comes down this week. So
I like that we're finally starting to see the game open up now that season 6 is kind of out of here because they've been the primary focus for a while. And I mean, we kind of had that bye week where Marcellus left and all that sort of stuff. But I just think that now that Howie and James are out of here, I'm really excited to see Chilltown really take it, a step up. And I'm really excited to see that kind of gameplay from them.
Definitely. So if you were watching this season for the first time and this is who is left, who's winning the season?
I think you would have to assume it's a Will or Boogie.
You would have to assume.
I think there's an outside shot of it being like
I would be an optimist. I'm always rooting for the underdog. So to me, I would be rooting for Danielle. I would be like, oh, my bitch is taking it. She just lost Marcellus and, she lost James. And I always root for the underdog. So I'm thinking she's going to take it. But I mean, if you were being honest, it probably would be Chilltown.
Yeah, right. Because I want to root for Danielle, but she's on these tweets talking about how Chicken George needs to go, and I'd be like, okay, maybe we need to lock in Danielle.
She's a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, she's losing control a little bit. Unfortunately, it's bad because we do have to root for her, but sadly, it does look like her time is running out now. Because we're in the jury phase, do you see a sense of player ability difference between those who went before? Let's say if you were to assess the jury based on the whole cast and how they were playing, does this make sense to you?
Knowing that BB6 wins the first 4 HBHs, I guess so. I guess it makes sense because these are probably the better players outside of season 6.
I was going to say the same thing.
I mean, no, this does not make sense. That season 6 had such atrocious gameplay that all the threats that you would initially think in the beginning of the game are still here. Chilltown is still here. Danielle is still here. Janelle is still here. This is crazy that Nokomis, Diane, these people who you would presume to be, low-key under the radar players who in most of the seasons would just float to the end, got sniped because Janelle, James, Howie, and Kaiser have played bad this whole season. And this is the result. A lot of the end-game threats are still here.
That's what I'm really happy to talk about, because now that we're in the jury phase, it seems like a lot of people who have been playing badly are getting their comeuppance. It seems like a lot of their bad behavior, well, not bad behavior, their bad gameplay is coming back to bite them in the arse a little bit. And should we start with Howie? Case in point?
The Jedi.
Okay, talk to me how you guys felt about Howie watching BB6.
Look, I think I said a little bit of this before we started recording. I think in real time, Howie would probably be really annoying. If I had to clock in the feeds every day and watch Howie, I would probably be annoyed.
Wow.
But as just a TV presence, and if you don't take him serious, Howie can be kind of funny. Every once in a while, he'll make a DR about being a Jedi or just say something stupid. I'm like, okay, Howie, I'll let it slide. Because I just don't take him serious as a game player or a person. He's not real. He's the first, is this sense of AI. Because I don't think this is a real man. So it's just I do wish someone else took his spot, but I'm not mad at Howie. I mean, he's okay, I guess. As a
I feel
TV character.
Howie is a classic case of we're not laughing with him, we're laughing at him. Yes. So I feel if you are under the impression of oh, you're supposed to agree with Howie and you're supposed to laugh with him, that might give you the impression of not liking him. So you kind of have to understand that he is this ginormous character. He's an archetype that has been going on for several seasons now. I just think he is a larger than life character, and I love Howie in season 6. I love him in season 7. I say, what up, K, sir, all the fucking time. He's honestly just an asshole and really stupid, but I love to laugh at him.
Yeah, I guess it really comes down to whether you find his sort of humor appealing or not, because To be honest, on BB6, I did like Howie to an extent. I feel like that was a cast that worked a lot better for him. He was a lot better socially on BB6. I don't think BB7 is the perfect cast for him. It's a very different cast, and I think he did play a very similar game, and I don't think it quite works as well here. I think All Stars, I don't know if Howie would have been up the top of my list. I think I do want someone with a little bit more spice to them gameplay-wise rather than just solely entertainment-wise. But seeing as we're here and he's part of BB6, I suppose we can get into it. How would you expect he was gonna do, like, in BB7?
Probably exactly what happens. I would have no hope for Howie. As I would actually probably have Howie as like the runner-up. Like that's probably what I'd be thinking of preseason. I'm like, someone's gonna take Howie to the end and probably win. Like that would be my mindset because I don't think anyone takes him seriously.
And that was their mindset. Dr. Will and Boogie were even talking about. They were like, "Do we really want to take out Howie? Like he's like one of their goats. Like he could not win a jury vote. I think even if you came into the season like just watching BB6 and you came into BB7, you're knowing Howie is not going to win. Like who would vote for Howie in any sort of jury situation? Like be so for real."
Yeah. But I feel like that's the case with him going in, which is why I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm just more focused that way rather than the other. But hey, sure. Well, let's get into it then. So he comes in probably the best position in the game. You know, he's surrounded by 3 people from BB6 who fully trust him and are going to protect him no matter what. And he's also seen as the weakest of BB6. So everyone outside the alliance is going to leave him to pick off last. I think this is what we were talking about earlier, right? Where you say he's going to find himself as a runner-up, but never the winner. Just set up so well to make it deep. Will he win, though? You know?
This is a crazy a comparison right now because them as people, they're 2 completely different people. But just as allies, he's like the Big Brother version of like Joe Hunter, where it's like he's just a loyal ally and you're always going to beat him at the end. He's not going to turn on you. Completely different people.
Never.
Joe Hunter seems like an actual good guy. I don't know how he's just kind of a dick. But that's like, I just think everyone. Also, the thing about Howie, sorry, I just went on a little tangent. He knows Big Brother. He is like a big fan of this show. So on paper, he should be good at it. He's just not.
He's just not.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the problem. I mean, he has the wherewithal to know the game, but doesn't really have the skills to apply it. And I kind of like that Howie and every season that he's in is just like this overarching like presence. And no matter what, him and Janelle together are always going to be the target. And I always love Howie and Janelle against the world. Like I'm always going to be rooting for them. Like I love Sovereign 6 down. So I appreciate his loyalty, unlike James.
He is extremely loyal. And I would love for you guys to keep an eye on because I feel like it's so easy to talk about BB6 as a collective and talk about their moves for the Alliance as a whole. And especially for Howie, because he's so loyal to BB6, like he pretty much does whatever Janelle, Kesa, and then to a lesser extent, James will tell him to do. And he will do that without question. But I want to see if the moves that they make are really the right moves for Howie in particular, because my notes that I have right now are mainly BB6 focused, so I definitely think that would be a cool thing to keep an eye on. But let's start with this. So as soon as he goes into the game, he pretty much only talks game with BB6. However, Will and Boogie do mess around with him, but it does seem like they don't respect him very much. It just seems like they're amused by him and see him as a weak player.
Very much.
They
respect him at all.
They do not like this man.
Like
slurring him behind his back.
Yeah,
they're calling him fat. Like this is
not
this
behind
is crazy.
His back. It's to his face as well. They be saying some crazy stuff to his face, and Howie just like okay, like he does not care.
So do you think Howie thinks it's all in good fun?
What did you say?
Knowing Howie, I would think he thinks it's all in good fun.
Oh yeah, Howie thinks that they're having like a troll session down, but it's not really like that. They're laughing at him.
And you know what? They even proposed to make a final 3 with him in this week, and he just immediately rats this out to Janelle. Like, is this what you should be doing? I mean, Janelle probably would already trust you anyway, and now Chilltown are never going to see you as anything possibly detached from Janelle. I feel like he's just already pigeonholing himself as soon as the game starts.
Yeah, because like what we said, he is a fan, and he comes in here probably like the least threat level of everyone in the cast. I feel like him and Erica and like Chicken George are 3 people who are like no threat level entering the game. And we see Erica like kind of learn and adapt to the game, and Howie could do the same. He just doesn't. He just goes right back to being old school Howie.
Girl, Howie was just here for a good time and a check. I think he even knew like he was not winning this thing. I think he was really in it for Janelle, is what it seemed like.
It did seem like that, especially when we got towards the end. So which we'll get to. But like I said before, BB6, Howie was actually probably the best sovereign socially in that house. They really liked him. Janelle's always known as the sovereign that outlasted the rest and nearly made it to the end and won. But that was just purely because Janelle outcomped Howie. If the friendship had their way, Howie would be last. And I do think a chaotic split house kind of game like BB6 is one that Howie would fit in better. But in BB7, these people do not like him, like at all. So I have here that like a lot of the house find Howie very annoying. Like James does, well, even though James probably shouldn't. Will does, Diane does, Nokomis does. And Howie gets really arrogant in this first week. He thinks he's all hot shit because he was just off the fresh alliance from BB6 that everyone rooted for. And he thinks he's all this. And then he starts trashing all these other players. Like he does like an impression of Monica in the first week, talking about something on BB2. And Nokomis tells him to stop. Yeah. And Nokomis tells him to stop. And then Howie is like, you're telling me to stop? You hate me personally? And then he just bashes Nokomis throughout the entire week, calls her all sorts of crazy names, and everyone's just, I feel like it just kind of lowers everyone's respect of Howie.
Oh, definitely. He was obsessed with Nokomis in those first couple weeks, and I don't know why. It just seemed like she was the first person to really like call out his comments because everybody was kind of tiptoeing around it a little bit, and he kind of just
scary.
and he just like singled her out, and it was not a good first impression after coming back on season 6 and being like a fan favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't think anyone on BB6 ever like call him out for his comments about women. Like, cause he's just always talking about boobs, and then this is like the first time I think anyone's ever been like, "You got to stop doing this."
I feel like April did like a lot.
Yeah, I feel like April's like the only person I can think of as well.
Yup. Well, that's it. But it's also just like everyone's just losing respect for you. No one's gonna want to work with this person. This isn't BB6. There are other people in the game, and again, you're pigeonholing yourself to a position where you can only work with BB6. Janelle and Kesa have to be throughout the week. It's like, Howie, no, don't go Hurricane Howie, please. We need to have a good social game. We cannot play it like last year. And I just don't think he's an adaptable player in the slightest.
No, I feel like any season that he's going to be on, though, I feel like you mentioned it earlier, he's going to create that split house dynamic, like no matter what, because he's always going to be an us against them kind of person. And, every time he wins a comp, it's, whoa, Janie, Super Bowl, baby, every time. Like, it's crazy. He's going to get a giant target on his back, and it's always going to be a divided house every single time. And he created it on 6, and he created the same thing on 7. Like, and he's a part of that.
Right. That's about it for week 1. Basically, we talked about this a million times. Allison does go home this week. Definitely the right move for Howie. There is a lot more to this week that Howie was just not involved in, but thankfully it goes his way anyway. Now, for these players now, like the ones that we do now, if you do have anything you want to mention in particular on a week, please bring it up, because we're getting to the point where I can't go over everything. So you guys are just going to have to bear with as we move into week 2.
Yeah, we're talking about Howie. It's cool. Like, I don't have nothing to say.
Yeah. How much you got?
Kesa wins HOH. Howie's safe for the week. Does Howie do that much pressuring either way? Well, no, not really. It's funny how he really, really wants Nokomis gone all throughout that first week. He says, I'll nominate Nokomis and George. I'll nominate Nokomis and George. However, in week 2, he starts building a relationship with George. And also he's like, no, Diane has to go over Nokomis. So it's creating all this ire for not even gameplay reasons. Is he just doing it for fun? What do you think?
Oh yeah, whenever Howie has an ally in power, he just completely goofs off the entire week. All strategy is out the window. He's trading lightsabers with George, switching up target from Nokomis to Diane for no reason, and it's because he's safe, so he doesn't care. And then whenever someone else is in power that's not a part of his group, he's sweating big old bullets.
For real, I agree. Yeah. So one thing, but we can prop some things up for Howie this week. Building a relationship with Chicken George. Like Drake, you always say it. Just these players in the house that you see are disconnected from everything. They can so easily be a crucial vote to swing your way or the other. So for Howie to build a relationship with this man I commend him for that. And also, let's talk about this, right? Kesa makes these horrendous nominations of Nokomis and Diane. For Howie, is this as egregious?
No, I think actually, like, if you look at all Sovereign 6, this week only benefits Howie. Like, Nokomis going
if he played individually, I agree.
Yeah. Like, if he was individual player and, like, actively wanted Nokomis to go because he should, because they don't get along, this could have been a good week for the Houster. But, he's still Howie at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Would you say the same, Pisa?
I mean, yeah, he really only wanted her gone for like personal reasons, like not even anything strategic.
Yeah,
He only wanted her gone because they got into a couple fights and he didn't like her face for some reason. Weirdly
something
enough,
towards that. It seemed
yeah,
quite personal, the
he was
reasons
being a
going into
nasty,
it.
nasty man in that situation. And I mean, he had no strategic reasons for wanting her out, just simply because he didn't like her.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just seems like this golden position he's in is just benefiting him without having to do anything. Like I have here that he loses out on the vote to keep Nokomis, but he does essentially nothing to try to keep her, except kind of mention Marcellus, you should do this, despite not promising him things they promised in week one, etc., etc.
He
I
really
mean,
spends a lot of time this week trying to build relationships, because he's trying to hang out with Chilltown a bit more. He's really trying to solidify a relationship with Chicken George. It's sort of like his way of branching out from the Sovereign Six while they're in power, so he can try to cover their bases when they're not in power. But I think Howie is just such a bad social player that
yeah.
he doesn't realize that he's doing like
especially on this season.
negative, for the alliance.
I mean, it's just like I agree, but it's like Will and Boogie do not respect Howie at all, despite him going out to talk to them. He only really talks to BB6. And then you do mention the thing with George, but I don't know how deep that goes because he doesn't really have any influence over George's. Spoiler alert: who sends him home?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then I see we've seen like good players who are emotional players. Like they're targeting someone for straight
Yeah,
emotional and personal reasons. Howie isn't a good player though. So like you have to be like it's okay to target someone for a personal reason. If we don't get along, we don't get along. I need you out of this house. But you can go buy it in like a strategical or like good gameplay way. Howie is not the type of person. He's like, I just need them gone.
I know. Could you think
But
if he could weaponize this persona though
but then
behind like a more strategic mind, that
but
could
it's
be
it,
incredibly dangerous in a
it's
game
also
like Big
like
Brother.
Nokomis was allied also with Janelle though. So for him to go so hard
Yeah.
in Nokomis
Yes.
and Nokomis and Janelle are like sharing cigarettes together in the backyard, they're having a girls type of time. And for Howie to just go out of his way to completely like blow up that relationship, it's just like a testament to how bad of a player he is.
Yeah, it's like he blows up that whole relationship in week one. Week two, they nominate Nokomis Diane. Diane's the target now. And Janelle's like, how we need to keep Nokomis. And he says, okay, great. So now you've ruined your relationship with two people. Please play individually. It's never worth to play for the group unless you're the best positioned in it, which he is, but only from one
Yeah.
angle.
And now that we're getting to like Big Brother 6 players, I think an interesting like way to question is did they come back too soon? Say if Howie didn't come back the very next summer with like being the high of the world, like he is the big dog, like the big popular guy in town. Could he have improved or like could he have adapted more if he just wasn't like everyone loved me last time and it worked out kinda? I could just do the same thing again. And I think Howie's one of those players where I'm like, no, I don't think he would have been able to adapt or play good if he had like a 5 or 6 year break in between.
In theory, yes, I feel like he could come back and look at back on his time on the show and mature a bit more. Maybe he comes back as a 40-year-old man and he does a lot better. Maybe is he a father now? Maybe he's a parent. Might change your lifestyle a bit. But anyway, I feel like Howie is one of
Well,
those
wait a
players.
minute. We saw what happened with Jay, so I wouldn't say that.
Oh, not Jace.
Sorry,
I
carry on.
I just feel like Howie could come back and do better, but I just think that if he didn't come back after 6, he wouldn't have gotten the call back. Like I
I
don't think he
agree.
could have come back
Yes.
if he didn't come back right away. Like this was it, girl.
And maybe it
Actually,
should
I
have been
don't know
Mitch.
because they did call Cowboy back for Big Brother 11. Anything is possible in Big Brother.
And did he make it in the house? Like did they call Cowboy? Yes. However, was Kevin, Lydia, and whoever the fuck gonna win that HOH competition? The hell they were not. They knew what they were doing. Okay, now we're on week 3. So remember all that good work Howie did with Chicken George?
Yes, all
He
that
doesn't do
amazing
much
work.
to stop him getting nominated by James. So
Well,
you're so loyal to this group, and you don't even have any influence. Like, what's going on?
No, and
and
he
it's gonna
should-
come back to bite him later.
Yeah, it is gonna come back to
Absolutely.
bite him. And also the thing is I think at least James and Janelle, I don't know about Kaser, but I think they both view Howie as their number one ally, and he
Mhm.
has no influence over them, like not even a lick of influence. Actually, maybe he does. I don't think he even tries to have influence. He kind of just agrees with whatever they're saying to him in the moment. The only person he ever disagrees with is James, but I feel like when he's talking to James, he doesn't disagree with them. He just waits until like James leaves.
Leaves the room, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he talks about it with Janelle.
This is Howie does push Jace from the start, where the rest of BB6 do get caught up in wanting Chicken George to go home, which I commend him for. I do feel like he only feels this way because of their bond in week 2, but regardless. And Howie he only really seems to respect the games of the players of BB6 and just isolates himself from the rest of everyone else again. However, I will say from this point on, it does seem that Howie is kind of playing the peacemaker of BB6. He's the middleman in the alliance, and he's really doing his best to keep it together, which we'll see how successful he is at that. But at this point, do you think this makes sense for Howie to keep them glued together, or do you think he should jump ship and pivot?
He has no other option.
No,
he
no
goes
other
and he
option.
tries
No,
to jump
pigeonholed.
ship and he pivots. They are sniping his ass out of here. Like, he
Agreed.
created this situation. He came into this season with this big group of Big Brother 6, and he was going to make it known that that's who he's sticking with. And I think that the best thing that he can do in this situation is try to keep the group together.
Yeah, because it's like jump ship to who? Because like if say he goes to George and him could be, they could run the game. They both can win comps, but like he can't go to Marcel's and Erica, who are due at this point because they don't like him personally. He can't go to Chilltown because they don't like him personally. Season 5 doesn't trust anyone in season 6, so it's like Danielle, Danielle and James could be a 3. But like we'll talk more about that when we get to James, because like the Legion of Doom probably should have been different people, but
Yeah. This is interesting because remember how I was saying how he had the best position. So because BB6 won 3 HOHs in a row, they're getting a little bit too big for anyone in the house to just attach to completely. So Marcellus and Erica, who are, I want to say, still loosely attached to BB6, they wouldn't be so not arrogant, but so bold to throw them on the block immediately. They hatched this plan that was like, well, BB6 is so powerful, but what if we nominate George and Howie if we win HOH, and we tell everyone that Howie is the pawn, but he's actually the true target, and they just send him home because they don't like Howie and they want his perfect position. So it just goes to show that bad social work is still enough to cripple a good position in the game.
And karma is crazy because this was their plan, and this is exactly what happens to Marcellus later on. This is exactly what happens to them. So they should have, if they were cooking this up, they should have did it. But
yeah, if they got power. Hey, if Erica won that week 6 HOH and didn't get the redo, but we'll never know.
Floppiana.
It'd be gaggy if they pulled this off. I just don't think they could. I think it's a little too cute.
I think there's a world where they can pull it off, because I just don't think like
wild.
Chilltown has had all the power this week, and I think if they tell Chilltown about it, like, how we can go. Like, I don't think they truly care about Howie or Chicken George.
I think they're discussing it. I think Erica is so easily influenced that they could talk about it, and then a Mike Boogie snuggle sesh later, and she might be doing something else.
Perhaps, but we'll get to that later. So Jace goes home. For Howie, is this good or bad? I don't know at this point. Who cares? Well, really, he should get rid of Chilltown at this point. So
yeah, if he's not getting rid of Chilltown, maybe this is good because, like, at the end of the day, Howie is a physical guy, and that leaves someone that he can beat in comps. Like, Jace is good at comps. Howie's, in theory, should be good at comps, but he doesn't win anything this season.
Let's talk about this now, though, because Howie's not perceived as a comp threat this season at all.
He isn't, but like I think he's there with James. I really think that, and Janelle is winning a lot of the comps this season. Janelle sets the record. So I think with Janelle and James winning everything, I don't think anyone takes him seriously.
Did Howie even win anything this season? No, right?
No.
But we just spoke about how Howie really needs to keep BB6 together, right? If Jace is still in the game, that might be an alternative target for people like a Danielle or even an Erica or a Marcella should they win HOH. Otherwise, they've just now got no other choice but to target Janelle, who's your number 1 ally.
I feel like that's good in theory, but if you leave Jace in the game too long, I feel like he just links up with Chilltown, and then it just ends up becoming an even more snowball.
Well, I would have loved Chilltown to go home,
opposition
for him, but that does not happen. In fact, that never happens, sadly. However, so should we move on to week 4? Surprise, surprise. So Janelle says that she has a plan to nominate Diane and Boogie. Do you think that Howie fights her against this?
No.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, he says, yes, ma'am. Actually, he says, whatever you say, Janelle, whatever you say, whatever you want goes this week.
That's the kind of man you need right there. He said, I'm not going to question your decision.
True.
He's really the perfect
ally.
Let my
woman lead.
He is a great ally. But actually, maybe if he was a bit better socially, because I feel like all the angst and ire he causes from the rest of the cast might come back and bite me, especially if we're on the block together.
But that's the
But
thing, though.
loyalty, no, you can go no wrong with
He's
Howie.
super loyal. You always beat him at the end. He can win comps. And if you're on the block to each other, he might go home because he's that bad socially. Like he is like the perfect ally. As long as he doesn't like go too far of what he's saying, because then I might be like, we don't want either of you to win.
How
So.
would you two like assess loyalty as a trait in the Big Brother game? Is it good? Is it bad? How should you navigate it? Like, talk to me.
It helps you win the Big Brother game. I mean, look at fucking Casey. I mean, we see Big Brother players all the time just stick with loyalty and get all the way to the end, and they can win.
True.
Because I feel like Big Brother can rewards that kind of gameplay because of the jury format.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of like specifically super fans come in. Like I think Quinn's a good example of this, where they're coming like, I'm gonna play this like disloyal game, I'm gonna betray whoever I had to be. And they spill a lot of tea really early on. Like they find themselves in a good position, but because they're like constantly exposing stuff, it comes back to bite them and they don't really have runway in the game. I think you have to be loyal to a set group of people until you think they can beat you, and then you cut them at the like towards the end game.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Be loyal to someone you can beat. That's really the golden rule.
I think Xavier did this the best of like any like recent winner, where it's like he was
okay.
like he figured out like, the cookout was like the real structure. He knew who to be loyal to in Big D and Ozza. Like he had Kyle's loyalty, but he's like, I'm not gonna go to the end of Kylan because there's always the risk of Kylan beating me. Like you gotta be loyal to certain people at a degree, and you gotta understand who you can be and who can't be. So
okay, that's a good take right there.
Love that.
I agree
Love
with that.
Some
X praise. I know D gonna be happy.
yo, D. For those who don't know, D loves Xavier. He's about to be in these comments like,
D's
yes, finally the praise.
So Janelle says that her plan, she shifts her plan, yada yada yada. Basically, she ends up nominating Erica and Boogie together with the plan to get rid of Boogie. Wink, wink. However, there is an alternative plan. She wants to save Boogie and nominate Diane/Danielle. It's complicated. We'll get to it. Howie does not know of this plan until Janelle selects Howie for the Power of Veto competition. And it's implied that she picks Howie over Kaser and James because she doesn't want him to win it, which is kind of cruel. And she whispers to Howie, we don't want Erica or Diane to win. Target them in the Veto competition if you can. And he just says yes without question. Now, no, I'm not happy about this. Please, I don't care who you are. You are telling me why. I can't just blindly trust you. This is Big Brother. How many people do we know that have just blindly trusted and paid the consequences for it? Marcellus with the veto, he could have told him.
Yeah, it's one of those things because, like, honestly, Howie could have just won this and then like used the veto to backdoor someone. And Howie probably gains more respect in the game if he just like wins a veto. Because like we talk about this, especially in modern Big Brother, but like winning a comp does so much for like your resume and like temporary respect in the house. And I think him obviously throwing this or like obviously making sure like Diane and Erica don't win it makes people not respect him.
Yeah, very that.
But once she does, Howie's like, why did you do that, Janelle? What's going on? Even though you assisted her with it. And she just says, I was so stupid. I was tricked by Will, yada, yada, yada. And Howie says, it's okay. We can fix this. We can nominate Will. Just make sure if you're speaking to Will, I'm in the room with you. Somehow Will manages to sneak his way in there. I don't know where Howie was, probably playing with a lightsaber in the backyard. And he manages to convince her to time to put Diane on the block, and she does. And although Howie says not to listen to Will, he somehow supports this decision 100% as well. It's the right decision. He's happy to send Diane home. However, someone is not happy about this, and that somebody is James. So James thinks that Janelle's throwing everyone under the bus. She's making it so the floaters target them, which is true, I suppose. But at that point, it was already too late. And Howie does his best to keep James on track. We do know that he fails, but are we happy that he at least tried?
Yeah, good for him for trying. I actually think the best thing this week would have been if Janelle, like if he would have pushed for Danielle to go up and say Danielle leaves, that would like only puts James, like that makes James only loyal to Howie within season 6. Now Howie's not this type of player, but he could have been to James like, oh, this is all Janelle's doing. It's me and you at season 6. And this could have positioned him and James to like jump ship and go with the floaters, but him also still be a season 6. But he doesn't think like that. He's never going to think like that. But
that's a good idea. I never really thought about him pushing for Danielle, but then yeah, I really thought about it, and I don't think Howie could put his 3 brain cells together to concoct that kind of plan.
I was thinking that maybe truly just push for Will to go up. Incredibly smart. Keeps the other side of the house together, and also it keeps BB6 together, the only people that low-key like you in the game. and keeping your golden position, Howie. I feel like letting Diane go up was a huge mistake, just in the way it fractures their alliance. You could have avoided
Just
all of
more
this.
bad moves on season 6's part, which is ultimately going to lead to their downfall.
Inactiveness. It's like, please push your agenda. I feel like Janelle would have appreciated Howie to say her agenda more. She's like, I can't believe Will talked me into this. I think maybe she would have appreciated Howie tried to talk her out of it.
Yeah, because this, like we talked about earlier, like Howie is a fan of this show. I think Howie knows the right move here is to get someone like Will out, but I just don't think he's not gonna push for that. He's like, okay, that's what Janelle wants. Janelle's smarter than me. I guess that's what we'll do. It's like, no,
Well, Howie
give
in
your
his
opinion.
mind thinks that he and Will have a good relationship, so I don't even know if he would really want to push for Will at this point.
Well, Will doesn't respect him. Like, Will doesn't care. Will's
But
not
Howie
going to
doesn't.
prioritize
Howie doesn't know that.
He should. I mean, he doesn't try to hide it very well, but maybe you're right. Maybe he truly doesn't believe that. And maybe but then he's living in a state of delusion and he's playing the wrong game. What can I say? But I don't think any of us are disagreeing on the fact that Howie isn't playing optimally here. Because Diane even says, listen, if you really want to play for you, Howie, and I challenge you to, vote to keep me, because keeping me is better than keeping Erica, who kind of threatens your middle position in the game. But Howie says, absolutely not. Janelle. Well, Janelle's word goes, and Diane goes home.
Boo.
Wah, wah. Yeah, boo. Wait, I thought you like Erica. Or are you saying boo for Howie?
I'm saying boo because I love Sovereign Six, like down and like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, really? Like Boogie and Will and Danielle are all still here, and Diane and fucking Nokomis, like they're gone. It's just like what are we doing?
Yeah,
I don't know. When Nokomis left, I didn't really notice the difference. No shade.
I was like, this kind of has me worried because like at the time as we were recording this, like this is the day like the Big Brother 28 like returnee rumors like on full max. Like it's like, okay, like we think they're actually gonna be returnees for the season. This has me worried about like one of my favorites do come back and they all flop like every week. And I just gotta sit here on a podcast and try to defend their moves. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it.
That's when the legends are separated from the amateurs, because somebody that you might like in an OG season might come back and they might just flop and do terrible, like some people did in All Stars 2. And it might make you just change their opinion on them as a whole. And, that's just how it happens.
I feel like it does teach you more about them as a player, though, which I really do appreciate. Because every cast is so variant. And the people who can truly adapt to any cast is next level of player.
So many people who just do so good on one season and then come back and they just can't replicate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler.
Uh-oh. All right. So now we're moving on to week 5. And finally, BB6 are not in power, which means that Howie should be in danger. However, Howie is the last BB6 member on the web. And because Danielle and Erica so badly need an HOH to themselves, they promise Howie everything to keep him safe and for him to drop and give the HOH to Danielle. Now, this is really important because later in the week, Danielle tries, when she's thinking of who to renominate after Janelle wins the veto, she's trying her best to think of any reason she can possibly nominate Howie instead of Kesa, who she has an affection for. But because of this ironclad deal, Howie is safe this week. Good on Howie. You know what? I am only dropping and agreeing to a deal in these type of endurance competitions if I know I absolutely cannot beat them, which he could not.
Yeah, that's probably what he is thinking right here. Because also, this is like really impressive by Howie that he is like one of the bigger dudes, and he was able to hold himself up for a very long time.
Loyal to the soil. He's gonna hold on, support all his weight if it means keeping Janelle and Kesa and James safe another week.
In theory, do you think Danielle should have honored the deal? Like, do you think she could have broke it?
Well, her reasoning is that she was so traumatized by the way that she broke deals on BB3 and they rewarded her by not giving her a single jury vote. She says, I absolutely cannot do that this season if I want any sort of respect. However,
I feel like when you reach a certain point and the entire house is okay with you breaking the deal, like I think of like Jess and Cody or Bridget and Frank, where the entire house wants a target out, you can break the deal and they would be okay with it.
Yeah, I also think if you break the deal, Howie's not on the jury for one, so you don't have to worry about getting his jury vote. But also, you have people like Chilltown that would be on the jury. I think they would honor the cutthroat gameplay of breaking the deal for Howie,
I agree. But then what's the difference between Howie and Kesa? Honestly,
Chilltown would go after Kaser probably harder than they would go after Howie.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. So maybe that is the right decision. However, I would say Howie and Kesa are quite similar, as that Howie has No shade, slightly better reads. And I'm not saying that to compliment Howie. I'm just saying Case's reads are abysmal.
Yeah.
And for all we say, like Howie is inactive, which he is, Kaser is somehow more inactive as a player, and it's like, so maybe getting rid of Howie is the right game move. Actually, it sucks to say because Kaser should be a better player, but there isn't much of a difference between getting rid of Kaser and getting rid of Howie. It's just you have to deal with one, and you don't with the other.
I just think Kaser's a more of a potential jury vote if you can drag him further.
People
than
like
Howie
Kaser
would be.
more.
Yeah,
People
For
respect
Danielle.
Kaser more. Definitely. So basically, BB6 realized that because Danielle's in power, the tides are turning to pay them back for what they did by nominating Diane last week and targeting floaters. Howie literally just spends most of the week just bashing Erica and Marcellus for being dirty floaters and turning on BB6. He says that they had a good thing going and now they just completely ruined their position in the house. And I'm just like, this is just so delusional because I don't understand how BB6 can blame Erica so much for turning against them when they nominated her the round before. Like, what?
The same way they can gaslight George into thinking that he shouldn't nominate Howie, even though Howie let James put him on the block. It's like,
Like,
the
maybe-
hypocrisy knows no bounds with these people.
Truly, because maybe Howie, instead of just bashing these people, you could have actually been able to build some separate parachutes, maybe. Maybe if you had or kept Chicken George at your side, maybe you would have been able to influence his vote somewhat and get him to keep Kaser. But no, instead he's switched. He's convinced by Danielle to keep James in the game. James, the person who targeted him week 3. I just think that this is also a downfall of him just sticking to BB6 and only playing within BB6. Big Brother is a game where anyone can win power at any point, so you have to be good with everyone.
Yeah, we kind of see this all the time, like on Big Brother, where it's like someone your side finally doesn't win HOH, and they have the gall to target you. It's like I never did anything against you, but it's like, yeah, but you're also not working with me. You're actively not working with me, so it's like, why would I protect you? Like, I think we see this almost every single season. It's like there's always gonna be one person who's offended or upset that they're being targeted by someone they've never talked game with.
Every season you always got that one floater who doesn't pick a side and then gets targeted, and they're like, "Why are you targeting me? I'm not with them." And it's like they don't understand.
Exactly.
You don't have any social capital, girl. Like you got to pick a side at one point.
Exactly. And if you're the best positioned person in the house, then you can target the floater and get away scot-free. So you're always got to be careful because someone can target you and benefit from it when you might not think that's the case. I was just going to say Howie is in a tough spot, but choosing between James and Kaser this week. He votes to evict James, which I think is just likely under Janelle's instruction. I think it's more so a sympathy. I wouldn't know. He still plays very friendly with both of them, and he's very
Kaz,
much willing to move forward.
Your
with
mic
it.
is cutting out.
Oh shoot! Do you want me to repeat that again? What did you hear I say?
It's a little staticky.
For me, it's fine.
It is.
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
Do I sound good to you?
I can leave and come back. Yeah,
I
you
can
sound
hear
good to
both
me.
of you amazingly.
Yeah.
Did I cut out
maybe
just then?
maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just.
Am I
me,
still
but-
cutting out, Peter?
Oh, you're good now. You're good now.
Okay. I was just basically saying like, oh, he's choosing between James and Janelle who to vote out. No, Janelle, Kaser. And Janelle's like, let's vote Kaser. Let's keep Kaser as a sympathy vote, and Howie agrees. He also just tries to play the middle ground with them both. He's still like, I'm very much on your side. We're moving forward together. But James is still like, no, Howie, come with me. I want you to be my parachute for the Legion of Doom. It's us. I'm loyal to you the way Janelle is not. And Howie doesn't really do anything. Like, do you think he should tell Janelle that James is straying from her, or should he just be quiet, or should he try to mend them back together? Like, what do you think?
I think on paper he should play both of them and like get their loyalty for both, but he just kind of doesn't do that. He does just nothing. It's like, oh,
I feel like the answer is always never do nothing. Like, there's always something you can do. And
yeah.
I just feel like active gameplay is just the thing that I keep honing in on what makes a good player good.
Yeah,
Even if you're actively bad, like, at least it's interesting.
Yeah, because even though the Legion of Doom is a fake alliance, there's not really a reason Howie's not in it. Like they could have just put through, like Howie probably snitches, but it's like you would think James
the
in his
whole house
mind
would know about it.
I just don't think a player like Danielle respects Howie the way he moves in the game. Like,
Yeah,
maybe that's the reason.
maybe this is a flaw with Danielle.
And he would
but it's
never
like,
betray Janelle. He would never go behind Janelle's back.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it's a flaw with Danielle, but you gotta work with people you don't respect sometimes because you could beat them at the end. She always works with people that she might have trouble beating. It's like, stop. Because Howie is just the GOAT. He's the Amy Cruz of the season, where it's like he's kind of just there.
Oh, Danielle's gonna fix that problem this summer, okay? When we see her back.
Hopefully,
I
hope it's
really
bad.
hope so. Could you imagine how perfect that would be after we do this and then she's on the new season? We're gonna have her freshly prepared. Did you see the Janelle rumor as well? Like that's crazy. I
I
don't
don't
know if I
believe that.
believe that.
I'm refusing to believe that one because like she's played 4 times. I think after 22 they should never call her again.
Fourth
Like
time's the diamond.
I know that's wrong. So moving on to week 6, Erica wins HOH. She's gonna nominate Howie and Janelle.
Erica wins. Period. Erica HOH. We are
Janelle's going
here.
home. If Janelle wins veto, Howie's going home. Oh wait, it doesn't count because the buzzers don't work, and instead Janelle wins HOH, so which
They
means
played
that
in her
Howie is definitely safe
face.
this week. Hooray!
They played
Howie-
in Erica's face.
Poor Erica. Honestly, if she went home this week, that is so tragic. But Howie just plays second fiddle to Janelle again. Surprise, surprise. Is anyone surprised?
No, I don't even think
No.
Howie's surprised. I think Howie fully expected this.
But because Chilltown are like trying to control the game from every angle at this point, like they've really gone into gear. As soon as they win, they're like, all right, time to make a final 4. Me, you, us 2, and you 2. So what, Howie, Janelle, Will, Boogie? We're going to call our alliance the Perfect Storm, which they name after Janelle or something. I can't really remember. But Janelle and Howie are like, but what about James? James can be our 5th. And they're like, no, James is still not with you. He's not. Don't trust him. And they're like, no, we're keeping James. We're keeping James. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like Chilltown are just way less likely to honor this moving forward because they so clearly want James to be the 3rd. And even when they ask, this is the final 4, they're like, final 5 with James, which you're kind of just exposing that you're going to take James to final 3 over there.
Yeah,
This is bad.
Also, but at least like it is bad, but this alliance wasn't real from Will and Boogie, at least to Howie, because like we didn't really talk about it, but a couple of weeks ago, Will's like, yeah, Howie's going soon, so I can get Janelle to myself. And I think ever since then he's been plotting like Howie's demise. I think it's like around when it starts. So
Yeah, maybe Howie's just on borrowed time, which is interesting because you would think Howie is someone you can use more. Maybe Will has ulterior motives for preferring to work with Janelle. But again, like Howie, you cannot like if he's in a position, I know he's in power technically because Janelle has HOH. But if you're in a position where you kind of pissed off the whole house socially, other than the people that you already knew going into the game, when something like this is offered, I feel like you just say yes. Yes, anything you want. I will prove that I am a versatile player. But
And Howie will not do that.
no. Okay, so they want to get rid of Danielle this week, and then they're going to get rid of Erica should she win the veto. They don't want to put Marcellus up on the block because if Marcellus goes on the block, he will go home, and they just don't see the benefit in that for themselves personally, especially because Janelle and Marcellus seem to have made up a little bit this week. However, James so blatantly throws this veto to Danielle, and Howie and Janelle confront him afterwards. They're like, hey, what the hell was that? And James does a horrible job of explaining himself. Do you turn on James here, or do you still like, fuck it, we still need him?
this the thing is you do kind of need him to a certain extent, but it's like you definitely need to betray him at some point. But like if you're Howie and Janelle, just like BB6, it's kind of just them versus the world right now. So it's like you need to get rid of James at some point. But it wouldn't make sense for it to be this week because it's like at least you have a relationship with James. Especially if you're Howie. Like Howie,
I think it's just too late. Howie, you need James because you haven't made an effort with anyone else, and we're now in week 6.
Yeah.
Like this,
Yeah,
is
and that's kind of the problem. Since they're such big targets as a group, it gives James so much leeway to just go do other stuff with his side deals because Howie and Janelle are such a big target ahead of him, and they need James. They don't have anybody else.
Yeah. And to be fair, to give them the credit, they actually do realize this. Like Chilltown do come up and they're like, hey, James should go. Did you see how he threw the veto? That's crazy. And they're like, no, we're still keeping James because we need him, which yes, you do, but sad that you're in a position where you need James. That's pretty depressing. However, Chilltown instead go to work on nominating Marcellus instead. Howie and Janelle the entire week are like, absolutely not. We cannot do this. However, at the last minute, Will and Boogie push. They wait for Janelle to wake up in the morning in the HOH room. They push for Marcellus and she gives up and she says, fine, because you guys push so hard for it, I'll nominate Marcellus as long as he's the pawn. And she does, and Marcellus's fate is basically sealed this week. The only people that think that he is the pawn are Howie and Janelle until the last hour where Howie is told that Marcellus is going home. He flips his vote and Marcellus goes home. This is a pretty poor week for Howie. It just leaves him kind of defenseless, other than Janelle, who Chilltown wants to protect over him.
Yeah.
Sealed his fate.
Rough, buddy.
No, I sealed your partner's fate.
It'd be funny if Howie said that. Like if someone said that this season a caser or something, like someone should have brought it back just to play in their face.
Yeah. I don't know if there's much to say this week. I feel like Howie should have just told Janelle that George absolutely has to go this week. Nominate George no matter what. Do you think that would have... I don't know. I feel like Howie just submits to Chilltown as well. You've lost this week as soon as Janelle fell for it, unfortunately. There was nothing really you could do.
Yeah, he's just it's weird because I feel like Howie has this very like dominant personality, but as a player, he's very like submissive. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like, why are you not this more dominant like player that pushes for what they want? He just doesn't. He just kind of pushes back. I mean, he sits back. So
you think so because again, he talks such a big. Here's the thing with Howie. I do feel like it's a front he puts on because he talks about how they bash the friendship all the time. However, Howie admits that he's still friends with them. So, do you think with Howie, it's just a little bit? It's all fun and games.
Yeah, he's playing a bit of a character. I think he came back knowing that. I feel like he didn't come back wanting to win the money. I feel like he came back wanting, more fans.
Because he is a fan of the game, he loves it. But
yeah, I think
Howie.
Don't waste our time, Howie. No offense.
I do think Howie is one of those people. It's like the early 2000s. He used to like a big TV personality. Or like I think Howie would have been on the challenge for like 10 years straight if he was like on MTV or like a real world person. Because he just has like I think he likes the game, but I think he likes being on TV more.
Yeah, I agree.
think so too. Maybe that's why he wants to be a weatherman.
That's his job.
Yeah, literally, it all comes together. So we're here for Howie's finale week. Basically, George wins HOH, which should be good for Howie, allegedly. That he says, okay, James, you're my target. Up you go with Erica as the pawn. Basically, tit for tat for week 3. However, James wins the veto. And when this happens, the whole house pushes for Janelle to go up. They're like, Janelle. And George tells them this. He says, yeah, the whole house wants you gone, including James. And then Howie has to spend a lot of this time consoling a Janelle who's crying because the whole house wants her gone. But George says he won't. George says he's going to nominate Will because Will volunteers. At this point, I agree. Howie just let Will go up. However, Boogie is not happy about this. He talks to George and he says, I'm angry that you're not nominating Janelle. There's a secret power in the game. Basically, they have a whole confrontation with everyone.
Like a house meeting, pretty much.
Literally a house
Everybody
meeting.
was in the room.
Everyone, while they're waiting for the veto ceremony, which I don't know how many times we've seen this. This was, because this wasn't on the feeds. Like when I read this, I was like, when did this happen? And then I watched the episode and it's like, oh, it's when the feeds are down. That's how last minute this is. And Boogie basically pushes George elsewhere and George is lost and he asks around the room. He's like, Janelle, is this true? What happened week 6? Sorry, I almost went up. And she says, well, yeah, but the target was always Erica or something like that. I can't remember what she says.
They both
and then
say,
he asks for Howie to say something and Howie is dead silent.
Howie, he literally said, what else should I say?
And he says, I think you about covered it. This is just the wrong thing to say. It's like, I just think this is also just karma of Howie not being tapped in the game. It's rubbing off and he's paying retribution for it. What do you think?
It's also very telling that Chicken George told them that he didn't want to put up Janelle specifically because he respects her, which kind of indicates he doesn't respect Howie.
Right. That's a great point because he says, Janelle, I've seen how hard you work to stay here. I see you studying for comps all the time. I see how you never give up. And then she's like, but Howie doesn't carry himself with respect. So it's interesting for if you're going to get a player like George, how not being respected and seeing as the buffoon to try and mitigate your threat level can actually work in reverse.
Yeah, because the thing about Chicken George, like we'll talk about when we get to this episode in the future, he is a big fan of Big Brother. Like he actually does like Big Brother. And I feel like he wants someone he likes to win the show. And I don't think he really cares or respects Howie. So he's like, okay, Howie, you can go. Like, I don't like you. I don't think you would be a good representation of our winner. If it's not me or Janelle, who deserves to win this season as All Stars? So yeah. Also, side note, why does James look so scared up there with that veto in that photo on the top right? He looks so scared.
I tried to find a picture of James using the veto, and because the camera was awkward there, I just had to get one of him sitting down. But he kind of always looks like that.
He always looks awkward in every single scene they show him with the camera. He just looks like an awkward man.
Yeah. Also, in that photo at the very bottom, Howie looks like a little kid, and like Boogie's just like playing with him.
Do you not think that's symbolic though?
Yeah, he's like, it's like his like cousin came over. It's like his older cousin. Look what I got. Look what I got for
And look at
Christmas.
Boogie, not even looking him in the eyes, looking at the like what is it, the elliptical machine, and Howie's looking at Boogie straight in the face with a gleeful smile. Like Howie, do you not see what's going
Aw.
on, King? It is kind of sad,
To
but it's
my
also just like
kings.
I don't know how much sympathy I can really feel when I've had to endure this because you guys, Howie is not very enjoyable to read on the feeds. He every time I see a scene with him, I low-key want to skip it because I know it doesn't really have that many real game ramifications. But for the kingdom, I persevere.
Ooh, them episodes did him justice, girl.
I feel like the episodes Loki did him a favor by not showing half of the worst stuff. But you could say that about everyone, so maybe I'll back off a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Howie's nominated. Do you think what this is a side note, do you think what Boogie did was unfair with the coup d'etat to George? Because I don't know. Because I was listening to like someone else say that, oh, this is unfair that Boogie is using the coup to threaten George. I low-key think it's fair game. Because his argument is, oh, everyone knows that there's a coup in play. And if you put up Janelle, you'll be appeasing the house. Therefore, you're probably appeasing the person who has the power. Do you think that's unfair?
No, because I feel like on Survivor, people use idols for like to threaten people all the time. I feel like it's like if someone truly has this power, the power is truly out there. I don't think that's using production as a strategy, where it's like it's still a thing that could possibly happen. It's not me lying to you if I'm saying this could happen because there is a power out there. It's not like Boogie made up a power.
Yeah.
It's not like no one knew about it.
He also never said I have the power. He was like, someone has the power out there. It's like, grown. He made it
And everyone
heavily
knows it's him,
alluding
mind
that
you,
was
but
him, but
still. Okay, let me just wrap this up then. So Howie goes up against Erica because George chickens out. Oh, see what I did there? Basically, the house is split in the votes. We'll talk about it later, actually. So here's the state of the house. As you can see, this always happens. Whoever's leaving is always on the very, very edge of the game. He is only really attached to Janelle. I think this is it. He thinks he can trust Chilltown, but he can't.
Yeah.
This is just... Look at George. You should not... This should have never happened. George is the HOH who sends him home. That's tragic.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a more like WTF HOH than like Chicken George during the double. I think this is like one of the most like craziest like evictions like in Big Brother. No,
yeah. It's also
especially
the
when he couldn't make up his mind, right?
Yeah, he also takes out Howie of all people. It's like a what the F pick
his
takes
Jedi.
out another what the fuck player. It's like, why did you
What
two
about his
target each other?
backpack?
Yeah.
What do you think it was about George and Howie's relationship that got to this point?
Howie stopped talking to him.
Yeah.
That's
True.
all it was.
Howie left him dangling on the block at one point. Like
Yeah,
he didn't
Howie
put in
not
any
carrying
effort
himself
for
with
him.
respect, leaving George out to
Yeah.
dry.
All Howie had to do was be like, your name was thrown out, but I told her not to do it. He could be lying. He could say something like that. But he doesn't. At least he has one of the best blind sides in Big Brother history, in my opinion. He is truly
he
pissed.
was hot. Definitely. Yeah, that's
Get to step
depressing.
in.
Get to step in. Okay, so let's talk about this vote a little bit. This is hectic, and it's really fast because if you don't know how the nomination ceremony, the veto ceremony, sorry, is only like 4 hours or so before the eviction. So there is a lot of hectic gameplay going on, and you can see it's split because although Howie has Janelle and he actually has James, because one thing that maybe I haven't given credit to Howie for is that James still wants to keep him in the game. Now, is this because James thinks he can use Howie? Yes, but it seems that James only really had issues with Janelle. It was never Howie. So their votes to definitely send home Erica, who James doesn't trust. Meanwhile, Danielle and Boogie fight very hard for Erica to go instead, for Howie to go rather, sorry, instead. And Will is left directly in the middle. And Will kind of wants to send home Erica because Will doesn't trust Erica because Erica leaks information that he sends her. And he also wants to appease Janelle. But Boogie gets Will to flip back and send home Howie under the pretense that BB6 still has 3 players in the game and James is too shifty to trust with the Legion of Doom.
And
which
this is
is
like
close
one
to
of those
staying.
moves that people talk about on the forums where they talk about, Will is like the greatest player of all time. Where if Will was playing selfishly here, he probably might have voted out Erica. But since he came
Yes.
into the season wanting Boogie to win, wanting to prop Boogie up, wanting to go into their multi-million-dollar restaurant businesses or whatever the fuck that they're doing, the
Yeah.
fact that they wanted to go into that together, meaning he's always going to side with Boogie in this situation. But if Will was being a more selfish player, I could totally see him
That's interesting
siding
because
with
in this
Eric out.
debate, yeah, this is a move that benefits Boogie more than Will 100%, in my opinion.
But Will's not playing for Will. That's the problem. And it's like, girl.
Will's not playing for Will, but he's
Yeah.
also playing for Will. Like when it comes down to it, he does whatever benefits him.
He's
and
probably
Boogie.
fine either way.
Yeah, like I think actually, but also he wants Janelle all to himself. And is that for game reasons or is that because she's Janelle? I don't know. I'm not here to say who's cheating on who, but he does get Janelle all to himself after this for temporary time. So it works out for him.
There we go. This is definitely an interesting HOH. So keep an eye on this one moving forward because it went down in a flash. But I think that's about it we have for Howie. I feel like we covered most of it. We covered a lot longer than I thought we were discussing Howie, to be honest. Anything you want to say before, character wise, entertainment wise, legacy wise? I mean, we have that at the end as well, so maybe we can save it for then. But we're going to talk about another season 6 member. We've got James Ryan from BB6, the Veto King. Going into BB7, what were you expecting of James?
I was expecting much improvement as a game player because unlike Howie, I feel like James does know, like Howie, James knows the games, he understands the game, but he's active. Like James isn't you can shit on James all you want. At the end of the day, he's an extremely active player.
Very active.
So it's like, okay, James, you have a lot of flaws in Big Brother 6, but I think you understand those flaws. You're gonna put it together for All Stars, and he does not put it together for All Stars. But I don't know. I think I'm in the minority of this. James is a TV character. I always like James like a TV personality because I think you need someone to have a fun downfall on Big Brother, and James has done that twice. So,
I mean, I really like James. I wasn't having high expectations for him going into the season, but baby, James hit the pregame running.
Right.
yeah.
Him, Will, Danielle, they are the girls sitting up in these DMs, these emails, whatever, MySpace, whatever chats they used back then. Like, he came into this season wanting a win, and I like that he was hungry. Like, he really wanted to be a Big Brother legend. And I can applaud that.
It seems like James pre-gamed with everyone in that cast except maybe George.
That's the only person he did pregame with, and that makes his HOH make a lot more sense when you really think about it.
But James, do you really think that these people aren't going to talk to each other and connect the dots? Like maybe they were all like, okay, we're cool with James. We're going to keep him safe for a bit. Do we trust him completely? No. But maybe that's an okay spot to be in week 1. I don't know how to really think about it, but like I say, like Pharaoh and Lee are saying, it's like you can pregame all you want, but when it gets down to the game, I think the gameplay in the game will always overpower any pre-gaming,
Yeah. And I think we see this with for example, in Big Brother 22, Cody is someone who did pregame a lot, but he's still a good enough player where he's able to maintain these relationships and these bonds, these alliances to an eventual win. James is not able to do that because he's just unfortunately not as good of a player.
I also don't think he was expecting to come into the season with like most of his cast.
That might be true as well. They do have some talks about who they thought would get in. They think it's like either one of James or Howie wasn't going to get in if not for the fan vote. Personally, I think it would have been Howie, but who knows? Who knows for sure? So,
I think, production or fan vote, I think James always makes it in because he's the first veto king.
Yeah, and he kept winning all those vetoes in a way that I don't think we had ever seen in Big Brother before. Was he his first one that was like comping his way through the game? I mean, Janelle did that after, but I think he was the first. So
I feel like James like the OG.
They'd want to see if he could replicate that. I'm sure
they don't really have vetoes until like what 4?
Golden Power vetoes. Yeah,
they had silver in 3. Yeah,
that's fake veto. But and yeah, Big Brother 6, he wins 4 vetoes, but technically 5 because he throws the one to Sarah for him to use it. So he technically wins 4 in a row and 5 overall, and he uses them all like on himself. I'm pretty sure. So it's like. Yeah, like he was like I get why he was a fan favorite type of person because America's always gonna love the underdog, and he was like the underdog of 6.
Yeah, I agree. So we get into the game, and it seems, as we say, James has pre-gamed with everyone. But it seems like Danielle in particular is the one that he most like adamant to work with. I don't know. This is why I don't know if he thinks that she deserved to win BB3. He just really likes her. I don't know what it is. Maybe he just likes working with a woman very closely. Maybe it's another thing like Sarah. I don't know. But which surprises me that he allows Janelle to nominate her week 1. But maybe it's just a thing where it's like, Janelle, you did this to yourself. I can't save you. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what he was thinking week 1. But I think a lot of people knew about the him and Danielle relationship, and like because they just talked about it almost every week until they officially talk like link in
That
together.
part.
So I wonder if he was like, I need to distance myself from this, or make people don't, because like he also volunteers on her HOH. We'll get to later. I think he wants to have like a secret allies that people don't need to know we're close. And if season 6 targets her week 1, it's like we're not close, obviously. But he spends all week going to protect her. So I don't know.
And
No one falls for it.
Danielle left Janelle with no choice with her and Allison starting this
That's
rumor
true.
in like week
Yeah.
1. So it kind of led to that. And I could be wrong on this, but I also believe Danielle didn't pregame with a lot of people. I think
No.
James was one of the only few people she did
So that
pregame
might
with.
have been it.
So for James, it was more along the sense of that Danielle only had James. So for him, it was easy to have her as a number 1 because she wasn't as connected with a lot of other people in the pregame. While, Janelle had Howie, Mike had Will. He was kind of like looking for his duo, and I think Danielle was perfect.
I never thought about it like that. That's really interesting. So that could definitely be it because James likes to have. It would make some more sense to want to keep someone that you could have all to yourself. This isn't on the feeds. It is claimed by James in Exit Press that this is true. So bear with me and take this with a grain of salt. That he was the one that got the target off of Danielle, who was the original target, back onto Allison because he revealed to BB6 that Allison was basically targeting Janelle and Kesa. Now, I think this would have led back to them anyway, but if James really did do this, then thumbs up for him. But unfortunately, James is still being targeted left, right, and center. People are like, he's a veto king, he's a massive threat. And people also use him as a reason to evict Danielle. He is only really trusted by Danielle, but Janelle tells BB6 that they have no choice but to trust him just because of how big of a threat they are, and they can't afford to also have James as an enemy. At this point, we're going to talk about the Legion of Doom. It is suggested that the Legion of Doom was a pre-game alliance because James comes into the game wanting to work with Will and Boogie, but they are campaigning against him left, right, and center. They're smashing his game. They're bashing him all the time. So maybe be careful, James. Take pre-gaming with, some thought in mind that it was pre-gaming.
I also think part of a James is he gets done dirty by his alliance in season 6. Like at the end of the day, like as much a lot of it is him actively playing bad that causes them to do it to him. They do portray him about twice in that season. So I think he came into the season being like, they're gonna do it again to me. So I have to find new allies. And I think he already had in the back of his mind the entire time is that Janelle and Kaser will give me that at some point. He always trusted Howie, which is Howie's the main one who did this to him last time. So I don't know why he trusted Howie the most. But I think he was always looking for avenues outside of season 6.
I feel like James is like the classic like syndrome of like a player who's really good socially and strategically, but is always too nervous to make big moves because they don't want like the blowback of having to deal with like house pressure or people hating them and stuff like that. Because every time James plays, he always plays like a sneaky Weasley game, but he's never willing to actually commit to going after like the big targets. It's always like discussion, like he's siding with Will and Boogie, but he's never actually like doing enough action to enact a real betrayal to get ire from Janelle and Howie.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's interesting. How guys so you say that you think James is a really good social player. I don't really know how to think about that. I just think James is constantly reading as shady and untrustworthy. Like even by BB6, they would not want to work with him if he wasn't from the same season as them and they think that they need him, I feel like James does his best work when he's like talking to someone one-on-one when they think that James is their only hope in the game, when a lot of the case that isn't true.
Yeah, I think he's a better strategic player than he is a social player. I kind of attribute it to similar to being like Vanessa, where he's just not as good socially. But since he's such a good strategic player, it inclines people to want to work with him to make up for that lack of like social gameplay.
Yeah. I don't even know if he's that good at strategy.
Oh,
well, I think
we'll talk about it. We'll discuss.
I think a lot of the house, like I think at the end of the day, they do like James. Like a lot of people like him on, like, on at least a personal level. But like they'll talk to him, they'll work with him, have a good combo. The moment he leaves the combo, they're like, yeah, he still has to go. He's obviously like the biggest threat here. He just has the aura of a threat. Look at his photo, like his cast photo. He looks like a person who would be good at Big Brother. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And everyone sees that on him. He just seems like a really well-rounded player. Well, he's not a well-rounded player, but everyone views him like that. And I don't know what he could do other than just become a better player to get rid of that because everyone is threatened by him.
His portfolio is kind of like almost the exact opposite of Howie's, in my opinion. I feel like Howie is just like so like terrible that people don't really want to work with him and they're willing to drag him to the end as a goat. But James is so like overly strategic to the point of where people don't want to work with him because they're threatened by him.
I agree with that. I'm overly strategic is the thing because flashback to week 2. Thankfully, Danielle does stay. I feel like he does do some work to push the votes that way, so we'll give him that. However, in week 2, the untrustworthiness is already caught up to him because although he is part of BB6, he doesn't go up to celebrate with them. And because of that, they're like, we're just not going to tell James what the nominations are. He even goes down to Diane and says that the nominations are Nokomis and Chicken George, so you're safe. And then she gets nominated like 10 minutes later. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
How much do you think is worth? Do you think it's a good idea for James to go back and solidify and smooth things over to BB6? Do you think maybe he should ride this detachment like through the game to maybe score some points with the other side of the house?
I kind of feel like he should try to play the detachment up a little bit, but still like keep a relationship with season 6, obviously. But I think if season 6 gets targeted, he's maybe the primary target for almost everyone in the game, even though they have pre-game relations with him. He is one of like the main targets for everybody. And I think if he can detach themselves and get in with like the season 5 people or like that floater side of the game, he could be in like the perfect spot of the game. But honestly, he kind of tries that and no one trusts him. I don't know what else he could do because nobody trusts this man.
Is James always really the main target in his group, though? I feel like it's always going to be Janelle and Kaser. I feel like he's always 3.
I think it's interesting as the game evolves. I think we'll see. We'll see how it moves.
Well, I think it's always him and Janelle, especially early on.
Early on is him and Janelle.
People didn't really respect Kaser.
Yeah. But as the game moves on and they see Kaser as the glue that holds BB6 together, and because James is more detached, they do start to move towards the Kaser and Janelle direction, which maybe you do have to give James props to for being able to navigate that well. But throughout this week, Kaser does whatever the fuck that was. And Janelle and James are like frustrated with Kaser the entire time. They think that this is a waste of an HOH. They think, why on earth are you targeting them? You should be targeting Will or Boogie or Jace this week. And I kind of agree. James is the one that's like, Jace has to go because Jace is two timing with both the other side of both Chilltown and BB6. He's really with Chilltown. We can't trust him. I like that. He's also not agreeing with whatever Case is doing. I enjoyed that. He seems to get closer with Janelle. And I'm glad that he's ditched his, pre-gaming with Will and Boogie.
Yeah. This is the thing about James. He knows what the right moves are at certain times, but he can't be the one that makes that move. Like, he refuses to be the one that makes that move. Mm-hmm. And we see that in his HOH.
Every time. He don't want to make the big move.
Yeah.
Pussy!
We're about to get to that, so let's just quickly wrap up this week. He's basically like, if it was up to me, I feel like Nokomis is going home is better for me because I'm closer with Diane. However, for BB6, I will try to help Nokomis stay. He really goes to bat for Nokomis. He really starts like getting on Marcellus and Erica's neck because they're not willing to vote with BB6 this week. But ultimately, he is unsuccessful and Nokomis goes home. Diane stays. I think this is probably better for James in the long run. So I don't know why he was fighting so hard to keep Nokomis. Maybe he was just trying to build trust back with BB6. Who knows?
I think what he should have done is like float Nokomis' name out one time to Marcellus and Erica. See they're not down. Be like, okay. This really could have been a week where he just chilled out, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's always so hard for me to really evaluate if it's a good move or not to take out like Jace and Diane and Nokomis, because I never really like could gauge how much the BB5 people really had to offer to season 6 or to even Chilltown or to really the rest of the house in general. So I'm always really like unsure if it's a good move or not when we go over Nokomis and Diane and Jace. I never really like figured out where their heads were at. If that makes sense.
I was in the same conundrum. I was thinking, well, if Chilltown don't win comps and they can, and they would target BB6, are they really? Are Chilltown definitely the right target for BB6? However, the more I thought about it, just reading these feeds and seeing how the house is structured, Will and Boogie are truly the glue that keeps the other side together to oppose BB6. If Will or Boogie goes away, the other one is basically left defenseless, wanting to leave the game, and everyone else is going to run to where the power is, and that's BB6. And maybe they can leverage some more bonds, this, that, and the other. But I don't know. Drake, what do you think?
Specifically for James, him and Janelle like are the only ones that do kind of have decent relationships with Big Brother 5. So it is kind of like for them specifically, definitely for James, because at least Janelle has that good relationship with Chilltown. He should have really fought to keep Big Brother 5 in, specifically Diane and Jace. Because like Chilltown, he could have got rid of.
You just can't trust Chilltown ever. You know?
Yeah, and at least get rid of Boogie if you're not gonna get rid of Will, because Boogie will win comps.
So
fair point.
James wins HOH week 3. He has his eyes set on George. We think we know why, as George is the only person James hasn't pre-gamed with. Is this the correct choice? What are the correct noms and why?
I don't know. Maybe I'll defend this move a little bit because in James's mind, he's like, I have an alliance with everyone here but George. So I do kind of understand it where it's like, because if the Chicken George doesn't win the veto, this is kind of just like a straightforward week. Chicken George goes and James has no blood on his hand. Like, obviously, he didn't take the big move that he should have taken, but it's not like some disaster, like game losing move. It's like, oh no, he got rid of Chicken George. But I think once Chicken George wins the veto, that's when he should have like manned up and made the move. So.
Yeah, like, and if we're being like looking into the future here, like I think the better move probably would have been Chilltown, because I mean, you take out that power vacuum. I think honestly, season 6 could maybe steamroll from there, but I mean, he didn't know that at the time.
So the thing is with what you said, Drake, I think James would, because he thinks he's aligned with everyone else, but I think that's on false pretenses because he still thinks that pre-gaming counts in this game, and also to the idea that he would get rid of Will or Boogie, it just kind of, again, it just unravels the other side of the house, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if he puts up Will and Boogie straight up and makes sure one of them goes, Danielle already has a good relationship with him. Danielle and Marcellus are like rebonding during this week.
Erica is with Marcellus too. Like, girl.
Like he wants to make this Legion of Doom thing, which I'm so mad at the Legion of Doom flopped because that name is so good to not be a real alliance. So like it needed to be a real alliance. James took that away from me.
It was real to two of them.
Yeah. But it's like I think obviously the right move is to take out Chilltown, but I think we see good players all the time where it's like they take out someone that's the least connected in the house, like Andy taking out Jesse and Big Brother 15. It's like he had a good relationship with Jesse, but she's the least connected. It's the least blood in his hands. But the problem is Andy had good relationships with everyone else. James doesn't have good relationships with everyone else. He just has like at best okay relationships.
I mean, he's just so tied to the pregame. Like it's kind of like
a robot. He's gotta let it go.
He's like a robot. It's like he has orders. He's like, I have to target the people I didn't come in here with. And he came in here with Janelle, Kaser, Howie, pretty much fucking everybody except for George. And that's kind of the problem. You know, when you come into an all-star season, you have to be willing to, you know, make those moves on the people that you even pregamed with. And yeah, it's gonna suck, but you're not even in the jury phase yet, dude. Like, honestly, you should have just pulled the trigger.
Now that I think about it, I know, Cass, you haven't seen every Survivor season. I don't know if Peter, if you have either, but on the first Survivor All-Stars, Lex had a pregame alliance with Boston Rob. They were very good friends before the season, so he never turns on Boston Rob, even when it makes sense for him to do it. He's like, well, we have a good relationship out of here. We're obviously going to keep working together. And then Boston Rob betrays him first because it's better for his game if Lex goes. Yeah. And I think with this being the first ever returning season, in their minds, they're like, well, we made these deals before the show started. We're just going to keep to it. I don't think they like fully understood that we should break these deals before the season.
I've been binging all the early Survivor seasons, and I just got to All-Stars, so that's so crazy you brought that up.
Yeah. My logic with this is that James's logic for nominating George is that because George will go home, the floaters will target Chilltown instead of them. This is not true. Do you really think that 2 people who can't win comps are more threatening than 4 people who can? Like, please do the maths a little bit here.
Yeah, and they're also not doing active work to make sure the floaters do target Chilltown. And Chilltown is doing a lot of work to make sure these floaters target season 6.
It's wild. All right. So should we get how this goes? What I do like is that, he has Danielle by his side, who's like, no, absolutely, Jace needs to go this week. For me, for you, I'm not sure if that is the right decision because as we see, James and Jace, wow, those are similar names, come to an agreement that they're like, hey, if we keep each other safe, we're both people that won a lot of competitions in our season who got evicted basically because of it and because we're shifty and untrustworthy. If we keep each other safe, then maybe there's a chance that should someone win HOH who's looking in our direction, there's a 50% chance that we'll get targeted. You know what I mean? Do you like this move for James, or do you think he shouldn't have made this deal, considering that he has to go back on it later in the week?
I would say without the knowledge that he goes back on it, this is probably the good move, and he should have stuck true to this deal. Because I actually think this is pretty impressive by Jace. I don't know how much we talked about it during this episode, but it's like, yeah, make this deal. You are two big threats on your season, like because people always view it as like the seasons pretty much. It's like you two are like the big comp beast of your season. You kind of probably do need each other at least a little bit. And James has a good relationship with Diane, so like this brings him closer to Diane. It's like you should have just stuck with this.
Yeah, he should have stuck with the deal. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know
making
why
the deal is good. You should have honored it because what do you mean now that you're wanting to nominate Jace instead of George? I mean, not George, Boogie. So, George wins the power of veto. James goes on a massive tantrum throughout the house saying that it's rigged and that they want Chicken George to win. He gets over that eventually. The whole of BB6 want Boogie to go up. No, they want Jace to go up, sorry, because they think Boogie and Will can't win any comps together. It'd also keep them as a threat to the rest of the house. And James is thinking, no, Boogie has to go up because I want the rest of the house to be a little scared by Jace, so I'm protected in the future. Then we come up with Will and Boogie's plan to get Jace nominated / Marcellus nominated. It's a whole mess. But basically, because James wants to keep Will in the game, because he's like, oh, Will is wanting to leave and is not going to try and therefore isn't a threat, which he believes somehow. If I nominate Boogie, then Will just go home because the house will fight to keep Boogie. So instead, I'm going to nominate Jace, who will definitely go home. What's also funny is that he makes Kaysa tell Jace that he's going up instead of telling him himself. Jace goes up. He's against Will on the block. How are we feeling?
It should have just been Boogie.
Yeah, it should have been Boogie. I think that this is
Boogie could have been a game-winning move. For James.
This is like a game-losing move for James right here doing this.
I might have to agree. Yeah.
Knowing like what his eventual downfall comes for, I want to say game losing because like I have the wiki pulled up and I'm just looking. I think there's a certain moment where he could have like actually like got his like he could have won the game still after this, but this makes his path so much harder for no reason. Because I think if he's gonna bounce from season 6, it should have been with like season 5 and Danielle. Like that should have been his crew. So
I don't know. This whole HOH was also under the mantra. It's like, I'm going to do this so the floaters can't do it. I'm going to make the puny move so they can't. And it's like, but meanwhile, he's chucking it up to, oh, I was forced to do this because I'm in this great position and I want to be repaid by floaters. I just think I get a lot of arrogance from James moving forward from this move. I don't know. What do you think is the right way to handle this? I mean, he does push to keep Jace because he regrets his decision and he says, oh, I was forced into it. But at that point, it's too late. Maybe this is also him trying to keep Jace again is a reason why maybe Will and Boogie don't trust him moving forward,
It's kind of just really like a sign of like his paranoia. The fact that he is so paranoid of season 6 turning on him that he feels like he needs to keep Chilltown and these other big threats in the game. Because in his opinion, he's like, if season 6 turns on me, I need a group that I can jump to. So I have to keep this other group intact. But what he doesn't realize is that it's much easier to get to the game just steamrolling. And that if you take out the big threats like Mike and Boogie and eventually Janelle and all those players, you can get to the end by just winning and comping out. And the fact that he is so scared to take a shot at big players simply because he pre-gamed with them is just his downfall.
Yeah. Also, I think with like when I said Howie, I don't think Howie could approve if he like took a time gap between seasons. I kind of think the opposite of James. I think that James had more time in between seasons and more like time to heal from just like season 6. I think James has all the makings to be a good player.
And he's still active in the community. Like I could see him coming back like today.
Yeah, he's on 28. That would be so random if James is on 28.
Would it be?
I don't know I don't know how they view James, like production wise.
I really think James could nominate, not nominate, benefit, from being just a little bit more compassionate and kind with people and understanding where other people are coming from and not being so in his head. And so it's my way or the highway. When I do something bad, I'm forced to do it. But when you do something bad, you're stupid. I just think that although it doesn't really catch up to him socially, it makes him seem untrustworthy. But I just think from a mindset, I just think he can be quite narrow-minded in this game.
Yeah, and like seeing his activity on social media makes me think he would probably still be like that if he returned. So
Yes.
maybe he wouldn't improve if he came.
James is such a game bot.
Sadly.
He
When,
is.
and when we talk about how game bots sometimes lose the importance of emotions in the game, that not everyone is a game bot, and it isn't. This is a social experiment still, so you've got to play to it, But HOH over. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a fan of that HOH really. He should have just nominated Boogie, and it would have been fine. But no. So we move into week 4, and this is when James. This is basically, you can call this week the severing of James and Janelle. This is no more, because basically now that Jace is gone and Nokomis is gone, Diane just reverts completely to Jace as one of his parachutes along with Danielle, basically because they pre-gamed and Diane is the last BB6 member standing. However, Janelle wants Diane gone. James does tell Diane this and tries her best to get up and save herself, but ultimately Janelle has other plans. She throws the week to make sure that Boogie and Will are safe. Diane goes up, and Diane is basically trapped on the block and is going home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And James, out of retaliation, tells Danielle it's time to go after Janelle. And they're going to do that by allying with Will and Boogie, and they coin themselves the Legion of Doom. How do you feel about this entire week?
I will say actually the pre-veto, I think this is a pretty good James week. I think pre-veto, like him telling Diane and getting her to save himself, is a lot of good play. Post-veto, I honestly don't know what more he could have done. Like, just, I guess, tell Diane to keep working with Janelle. But then I think Danielle's the alternative in her mind. And I think Danielle's probably more valuable of an ally than Diane at this point.
He wants Will up, right?
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
You want Will up, and then you're making an alliance with Will. And you think it's going to last.
So I think the main issue is, on paper, Legion of Doom is a good idea. Make this alliance with Boogie and Will. It's never real to them, but you can make it and never trust it, never believe it's real, but have that as like a backup. Say Boogie wants to be like, oh, you remember the Legion of Doom? Remember that? But I think he should have made a real alliance with like Marcellus and like Chica George, or like him and Danielle should have had multiple Final Fours of people. That's really what the play here is.
I just don't think James takes those players seriously. And to an extent, there is a reason to do so. But an extent, they're still players. They can still be used. They can still help. And you're narrowing your mind to play with players like you who are just as untrustworthy. And then you think that this is going to be your path to the end when you're someone who can very easily win. Well, not easily, but is very capable of winning comps. And they are not.
Because if you're going to turn on season 6, you can't turn on them to go with the other better players of the game. Like, you can't do that. You have to just grab the floaters. Even though Erica is fully Shield talent, so maybe you can't grab her. But I could see a world where like you get her and Marcellus as like another duo to make a 4. Because at this point, Danielle and Marcellus' relationship has been amended to a certain degree. But it's like, I just think trusting Will and Boogie is maybe okay for the short term, but I don't know why he ever saw this as a long-term solution.
What I don't understand is throwing Janelle under the bus as egregiously as he did, because now all these people have dirt against him.
They do. And lucky for him, like when they do eventually use that dirt, she doesn't bite because she does need James, but she could have easily just got rid of his ass on like week 6. So,
but he's just lucky that Janelle's that logical of a player. Like, there are so many players I know that would learn this for the first time and nominate him on the block instantly. Maybe Janelle's only like this because she saw Howie do the exact same thing and how it worked out. But if he's plopped in the middle of a season that he hasn't pre-gamed the hell out of, I think he could be in massive trouble this week.
And not only that, but she knows that even if James won power again, I don't even think he would pull the trigger on Janelle like he says he would. He's all talk, no action.
He is all talk because we saw he targeted George. Because why are you targeting George? No one forced you to do this.
No, and like, why are you targeting Jace after? Like people forced you to do that, but you knew that's not what you wanted to do. He is all talks. I actually do think he wins HOH. He probably targets Chicken George again.
George
like, that is what he does.
Seriously. Okay, so regardless, Danielle wins the week 5 HOH, and oh boy, you would think James would be safe as basically her number 1 ally, but you would think wrong. In the Spiderweb HOH competition, James does win the power to nullify an eviction vote, so keep that in the back of your mind. And he's elated when Danielle wins. However, Danielle has this plan to make it seem like James and Danielle are not working together, and so James can keep up appearances, but with BB6, she is going to nominate him as a pawn up with Janelle, with her as the target. What are we thinking about this?
Danielle is a legend of the game, one of the brightest people to ever play this game. This is really stupid.
So stupid. Right, mind you, before you go further, James is completely okay with this. James does not fight at all and is actually happy to go agree to the plan, and he thinks it's really intelligent.
Yeah, this is a bad move. Pawns go home, baby. Oldest rule in the book.
James, let's be real, James, you're not the type of player who's a pawn. Like, you're the type of player who's a target. Like, we got to start thinking about that.
You're the veto king, girl.
It's like, you're lucky that you're on the block. You end up on the block next to Kaser. I think with him and Janelle, I think there's a world where T still goes over Janelle because Janelle had connections with Chilltown.
That's interesting because when they are nominated on the block, Will is immediately saying, you know what? I think I'd rather keep Janelle than James because James just cannot be trusted at all. Boogie says no, I would rather keep James because of the Legion of Doom. But it's interesting to think that James could have been in danger from the offset. In fact, he's probably lucky here that Janelle wins the veto.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why him or Danielle thought this was a good idea. Especially when there's three people.
Pretty inexcusable.
There's 3 people in Sovereign 6. So you could have just done Kaser and Janelle straight up and then backdoor Howie, even though you had that deal. I don't know. Like, why are we doing all this?
Just doing way too much. I don't really get the logic behind it, to be honest.
Yeah, what happens if James goes home this week? Who is he remembered as?
Probably someone. He's probably remembered as like a player that has some potential but overplays a lot or like overthinks everything. I think it's
arrogance.
Yeah, he is very arrogant. He's probably remembered for. I think that's how he's remembered now. Like, I think of people do deep dives on James games. He's a very arrogant player with overconfident. Is probably like the right word. He's very overconfident in his ability.
I feel like even if he went out in this phase of the game, I think his reputation would still be the same as it is now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like less people would think of him as like a cutthroat strategic player who had more potential, you know?
I think people...
My opinion of him would be the same.
I think people remember his 6th game more than his 7th game anyway. Like, I think people remember him for being the first veto king.
That's true. Lord, don't love this, but regardless. Also, normally this plan is supposed to be kept within the Legion of Doom. However, Danielle tells Erica behind his back. So James, like, really, you're not in control of any of this. You're just being subjected to the whole house at your disposal, right? So, okay. James is so happy to try to fool BB6. Now, Kaser Howie, he does have completely fooled. Now, are they the sharpest tools in the shed? Debatable. In fact, I don't think it is debatable. But Janelle is unconvinced. She's like, absolutely not, James. You're playing us. You're a decoy. This makes no sense. And all this good work James does, convincing Kaser and Howie and maybe Janelle, just goes down the drain as soon as James throws the veto in favor of winning a margarita party for the house.
Honestly, can you blame him?
Yes.
Girl.
You would be going home next to Janelle. Potentially.
He needs to get his social standing up. He's in the gutter. He needs to get them people margarita. No, if he this is very bad. This is
a disaster.
If he would have gone home this week, this is one of the worst weeks of gameplay ever.
This is off for the peanut butter.
And I'm just like, but you've just done all this work to convince them that you really want to win, and now you're throwing the veto. So, and also, are you scared or not?
Blatantly as well. Like, he doesn't make it look like he's winning it at all. Like, you're trying. Because it's already bad enough to throw the veto. It's worse to make everyone realize you were throwing the veto. You're still on the block, dude.
Yeah.
He wanted to lessen his threat level. Okay. He knows he's the veto king. He was like, I can't let them know that I'm the veto king. I gotta have the Marg party.
I do wonder in his head, because James does win 1 veto this season. I wonder if he's just like in the back of his mind, like, I'm gonna clock in at one point. Like, when I win these vetoes, no one's gonna stop me.
That's what every comp threat thinks.
Probably. Yeah. Actually, you're right.
Replicable.
Because I remember that's how Jag would talk on the. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna start winning, and then he just never stopped.
Jag can win everything.
So it's like, this is how the comp used to win.
Right. Janelle wins the veto. James wants Marcellus to go up because he still likes Kesa. Like, he's always liked Kesa and Howie. It's always Janelle who he's had the issue with. But unfortunately, Danielle says, I can't do that. Kesa basically said no to a safety deal. So up he goes. He goes up. James accepts this. It seems that there is a bit of push and pull with Will and Boogie. They are the swing votes in this equation. But it seems that Boogie is able to convince Will that they should keep the Legion of Doom intact for a little bit longer so that they can continue running the game and Kesa goes home. Surviving by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah.
Because, Howie and Janelle were getting rid of him this week. So
maybe good work that he did make that Legion of Doom. Like, it did work out in the short term. So good for him.
But the same result, it's like you're going further I don't know. I guess you're making it one round further, which is always a plus. I can't take that away from him. And you could win an HOH or something and change the game, let's say. Janelle wins the HOH, and Boogie and Will do kind of push for him to be nominated. It just seems like they just don't trust. They've just never really trusted James from the beginning. I just think, although Chilltown see the benefit of keeping Danielle and Janelle in the game so they can go after each other, the same urgency to protect James has just never been there. Do you think making the Legion of Doom is just a huge mistake?
Yeah,
I don't know if it was a mistake.
I don't think it's a mistake because it does kind of save him over Kaser. I think him being loyal to it is
that's true.
Yeah,
you're right.
I think him not making more alliances is the mistake. I'm a proponent, and this is why I would probably flop on Big Brother. So hopefully, that's why I'm not a sequester right now. Is that I would just be making alliances every other conversation. I'd be like, yeah, we should make a Final Four. Like, why? We should just do it. Like, I would just be making alliances, and you just gotta keep doing that. Don't be making alliances with the two like notorious, untrustworthy people at this point to ever play the game. Like, what? You should not trust them at all. Like, they're literally best friends outside of here. They're obviously going to choose each other. And at this point, James knows about, I think everyone knows about Erica and Boogie by being together. So it's like, if you know Erica's with Chilltown, Janelle's obviously flirting with Will. Like, everyone and their mom can see it. You make a new alliance with other people, but he just doesn't do it. So whatever.
I think he really needs to build up this relationship with Boogie because Boogie's the one that ultimately sends home Kesa over and protects him in the game. Because Will has never trusted this man. Like, throughout the previous eviction, Will, I think, wanted to keep Kesa because Kesa was easier for him to manipulate, which is kind of crazy. But alas, here we are. Also, I forgot to mention, James's nullify vote. He uses his vote on Janelle, and that helps him stay. If he does not have this power, I don't even know if he stays as easily because Will would probably fight harder to send him home.
Yeah, that is a good point. He definitely did need that to make the week easier. But it's I forgot to mention, can I talk about how Chilltown's super unloyal? Boogie up to this point is pretty loyal to the Legion of Doom. Like, obviously Will's is number one, but he did want to work with James and Danielle to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess he just has to redo that bond. But like, I don't know, because he does talk to Boogie. I just feel like I don't know what else more he could do than just.
I just think he just has to agree with whatever Boogie says, which you never really want to do because we just talked up that Howie, we just docked Howie points for doing the same thing, but Howie believed it. James should have just pretended,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the aura of him in the house and like the reputation of him, like what people perceive him as, is he's this lying, backstab, cutthroat player. And James talks like he's one, he moves like he's one, but he doesn't do it. Like, you need to start doing it. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
But I say this, Will and Boogie do just push for James to go up this week. So I don't know how loyal Boogie is, but up until this point, let's say, Janelle and Howie say no, so they push Marcellus instead. They still say no. Instead, they nominate Erica and Danielle, right? James very, very blatantly throws this to Danielle to keep her safe as his number one ally in the game, and Janelle and Howie are very mad. They're like,
I don't know why
they're
gagged.
I don't know why they're
gagged. They know Danielle's with James. Like,
maybe it's because James still just keeps gaslighting to them. They're just like, no, I'm not with you. But at some point, they've got to be like, we're not buying this anymore.
Well, they don't really ever do that.
What's the point in proving James that he's unloyal? He knows it. He's just lying to your face. So I don't know. This whole conversation maybe was a bit fruitless, you know. So James pushes for Marcellus to go up along with Will and Boogie. Who's to say if James is really the most convincing person, especially because Janelle and Howie have lost faith in him, but whatever. Regardless, Marcellus still goes up. And James and Danielle are considering who to vote out. Danielle wants Marcellus gone. However, James is a little hesitant just because he never really seems to have trusted Erica, especially because it's revealed now that Boogie and Erica are in a relationship. And James is kind of scared now that Chilltown have a lot of power.
I do think that's the right move for him to screw to Erica and pick up Marcellus, or at least attempt to pick up Marcellus.
Yeah.
And I think he recognizes that, but I don't know if he ever has the ability to get rid of Erica.
No, he doesn't.
Because what you need, actually, he kind of does if you get Erica, if you get his vote, Danielle's vote, Howie's vote, Janelle breaks the tie. That is probably the game-winning move is if he gets rid of Erica this week over Marcellus.
But do you think Danielle's going to get rid of Erica over Marcellus, who has targeted her in the past in this game, you know? It's a hard sell.
Probably not.
It's a hard sell, but that's what separates like good players and great players. Where it's like, which is weird. We're talking about James, but like him trying to convince who is one of the best players that played the game. But I think if him and Danielle really sit down and think about, you have a good relationship with Erica. Maybe this is like 2020 vision because Erica takes out Danielle, but it's like Erica's with Chilltown. We can't trust We can't trust her. Chilltown has too much power. We need to take the shot at Chilltown now. And I think he needed to do something about it. And if he doesn't do it this week, he should have done it the next HOH. But I'll talk about it when we get to that because that's where I think
he does not want it. He's still not targeting Chilltown.
Yeah, he still thinks he's in with them, which is
kind of he wants to nominate Erica and Chicken George and backdoor Janelle if he wins HOH at this point.
Yeah, I think at this point he should have completely flipped on Chilltown and gone back to season 6 with Danielle. Danielle is our new case.
Does James just have bad reads?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like he has bad reads, or he'll have accurate reads and do the wrong thing with them.
I think he had better reads at the start of the season. Yeah. No, his inaccurate reads are with the Legion of Doom. He thinks it's real and it's never been real.
Yeah, and it's like that's like his main bad read, but it's like the most important read of the game. That's the one he needs. Because if he recognizes that Chilltown needs to go, if he gets to the jury phase and fully flips on them again, he uses them to keep himself safe against Kaser. That's good work. If he could have just like this week got rid of Erica, like him and Danielle could have really locked in and like they could have been the front runners to win this game.
But sadly, that is not the case.
Sadly, James don't know how to play on top. He always got to be a bottom.
He likes it down there. Wait, what am I talking about? Week 7 starts with George winning HOH. And I don't know what, James has deluded himself into thinking that George would nominate him. However, of course, George does because of what James did to him week 3. James goes on a tantrum throughout the house, angrily cussing out George, saying he's stupid, saying he's this, that, and the other.
He shouldn't even be here.
He shouldn't even be here, exactly. However, he wins the veto, and all of a sudden, things are better, and George can be here now. Who does he push? He pushes for Janelle to go up, right? He really wants Janelle to go up so she can go home as a really big comp threat.
Yes.
Mind you, maybe you should keep Janelle with, like, in the house as a target in front of you, but I don't know if he thinks that way. He just hates her.
He does, and I think that's he's a very emotional player. He gets pretty tunnel vision. Like he needs Janelle.
Yeah.
Also,
and Janelle keeps getting so many chances too.
Yeah, Janelle gives him every opening to like reestablish and like rebuild that relationship. But I keep laughing because why is Boogie dressed like he's like in that one Andre 3000 cartoon about the kids that work out a music band? Because like, why does Boogie's wardrobe every season always makes me laugh. He's like he's
stuck in an era.
It's a very unique person, this man.
Yeah, someone makes a comment. I don't know who it is. I think it's Danielle. She says Boogie has too much money to dress like that. And she kind of clocked.
That's a great read by Danielle.
Yeah. So James wins the veto and wants Janelle to go up, and he campaigns to George to do so. He's like, I don't know why he's pretending he's on great terms with George when he just threw a massive tantrum saying George didn't deserve to be there, but he does. And George basically tells Howie and Janelle that James threw Janelle under the bus and he wants her to go home. And I think this is truly the last straw, and Janelle starts crying. And from this point on, I think James has lost BB6's protection forever.
Yeah, I think this is why we talk about him voting out Jace was like the game losing move. I think him not pushing Will here lost in the game. Because Chicken George is already thinking.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
If he fully portrays the Legion of Doom right here, which he should have, that is the logical thing to do. If he gets Will on the block, Will or Erica go, he has the path to the win. But instead, he's just so tunnel vision on getting Janelle out that it costs him the game.
I don't think there's anything he could have did to get Will on the block, because I think that he already doesn't have any sort of social sway with Chicken George. And on top of that, Chicken George is just targeting, it seems like, players he doesn't respect. And he even said in his speech that he initially wanted to nominate Will, but for the same reasoning that he didn't put up Janelle, this is why Howie had to get nominated.
I don't think James has this point any social influence to push anyone to do anything, but because George was already considering Will, maybe James just being the slight push to be like, I wouldn't be mad if Will got up. I think that would be a good move for George. It would like confirm what George is already feeling, and maybe Will would have been nominated, you know? Maybe just the smallest push could have made a big difference. However, no, Janelle has to go up because I hate her, and Howie goes up instead.
Will and Danielle. I think we see this a lot from like duos and like big, like the good duos. They both push something at separate times to the same person. So if they're not aware that they're a duo, it's like, oh, this is what multiple people want. Multiple people want Will out. And from my memory, Chicken George and Danielle do have a decent relationship, even though she kind of like hates him at the end of this week. But I think at the start of this week they had a good relationship. So if they both pushed Will, it's maybe not guaranteed because the whole respect thing and like when he goes to talk to Howie, Howie's just like. And then Boogie does threaten him. I just think if one of Chilltown goes up, Danielle and James can win this.
I agree. It puts them in a better position 100%. But that does not happen. James wants to keep Howie in the house, but he knows he doesn't have the votes to do this. And this actually really works against him because I think this also just, again, gives Will and Boogie ammo in the next eviction round to Danielle to be why James can't be trusted, because he says he's with the Legion of Doom. But all of a sudden, when Janelle isn't in danger, he's right back with Howie and he's not doing what we want. So again, he's untrustworthy. And it's fruitless because Howie doesn't have the votes and he goes home. So this is a really cruddy week for James, despite having power. But we move. And this is his last week, right? So Boogie wins HOH and James is very happy. A Legion of Doom member has won the HOH, which means he's safe. But it's fine because Boogie wants to nominate me. That's fine. I can go up against Janelle like I did right before. I'm with you, Boogie. I feel safe. Let's do this. And he throws himself back on the block once again. This is my thing. It's like James Ryan cannot be a strategic player if he volunteers to be nominated twice. What? 2 times where he has a danger of going home.
Yeah. The thing is, like, it's weird because he should, like, the way he talks about the game, the way he thinks, he should be a strategic player. But then when it comes to enact, like, when he makes the final decision, he thinks through everything. He's like, this is the decision I'm making. He lands on the worst decision he could have made. It's like, whoa. You had the other options. You see the options. Why are you on option C? A and B, process of elimination, man. When you do a test and you do C, 60 answers in a row, one of those C's is wrong. Okay, you got to go back and think about it.
What's wrong with George going up with Janelle? Sorry, what's wrong with that?
That's all he has to do.
Not you. He's like, I need to go up so I can win
Danny
the veto.
like that.
Or what does he say? I don't want to go up so I can win the veto. Mind you, there's 7 people left.
Danny.
There's only one person who doesn't play in veto.
Yeah, so... he's probably playing veto anyway.
Exactly.
But I will give him the benefit of grace. You know, when we really think about it, he was assaulted this week, and it's tragic that happened to him. It changes the trajectory of Big Brother history forever because he was assaulted. Like look at his pinky. So he does get his lawyers involved.
I've been harmed.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, previously with Danielle, at least he was nominated as a pawn. Here he's nominated as the target, thinking he's the pawn. So this is dismal.
Even if he wasn't down for this, he is going up. So
here we do see the photographed assault that Drake was mentioning earlier. Honestly, I don't understand how both of them weren't evicted from the game. What is it? No, expelled from the game for this egregious display of violence. If you don't know, Janelle wins the veto, obviously, because Chilltown throw it to her. And James is this his biggest tantrum in the house? He goes to the DR and speaks with Grodner. He speaks with Alex and he says, I need to see my contract to make sure that this isn't physical assault. And the producers basically have to tell him, no, technically this is classified as something else. Or something, because do you remember what it was?
No, I don't. I know people don't like James, but stuff like this is so funny to me. Because like, why is he?
You just can't take him seriously.
Yeah, it's like no, because I think that's the problem. Like maybe this is me as a person. I don't take anything serious. So it's like people like James, I find him so funny because he is serious, and that's why it's hilarious to me. Because it's
Yeah, he
like,
takes himself so seriously.
he's just like he really like was like, I need to see my contract. I want you to talk to a lawyer. He got on the phone with Grodner. You know how hard that is to do as a player. You had to get on the phone with Grodner. She's busy. Okay, like what?
Just
Yeah.
absolutely insane behavior.
I know. But Janelle comes off the block. Will nominates George as a replacement nominee. The whole house seems okay with George going out, including George, which we'll talk about what the fuck that deal was to get him to go up, but we move. Do you think James should have pushed for someone else to be nominated? I feel like no matter who goes up, James doesn't have the votes and goes home.
No, I
Yeah,
think
that
this is
part.
just too like obviously he played a lot of weeks bad, but I think these last 2 weeks he just didn't make thoughtful moves and it comes back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like realistically, there's nobody else who could go up and he could stay.
Maybe he could push for Erica, and because maybe then he'd have a fighting chance against Erica because she's untrustworthy. But again, Boogie's the HOH.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Boogie keeps fake talking about how he wants Erica out, but he's lying to Huss and himself. So
The one thing that we can give him credit for is this relationship with Danielle. Danielle really goes to bat for him because no shade, this is all she has left. They try to gather the votes, but they are just never there. I think there is a chance that James could have gotten Janelle if it wasn't for that last straw with Chicken George. And Will's never trusted him in the first place. So
actually, maybe if Danielle's on the block of him, maybe there's a way like but he has to. That means at this point he's betrayed everyone in the game.
He
If
has
he's
too
next-
many ops. Like it's just not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
I just think he played the jury. I think he just trusted Alicia to do too much. Like I said, it's hard, but I think if he gets rid of Erica over Marcellus with him and Danielle, I think that's the path. Or at least with the Howie week, they have to try to push Will more. Instead, he just burned with Janelle's relationship.
I think just trusting the Legion of the Legion of Doom is the reason that James has no choice but ends up losing this game. And I think he got himself into this point because, also he wasn't good with BB6 to the point where they could have targeted Chilltown, or they could have kept around people like Diane or Jace, who he could have worked with moving forward. But then again, he was the one who sent Jace home. You sent home people that you could have worked with as an opposition, but instead you chose the untrustworthy people because I don't know. He thinks he's a good player, so they'll keep him safe or something. I don't truly understand.
Yeah, it's weird to say this about a player who's played twice, but James is just like potential. Like he's potential, man. He's like I don't know if you're like on NFL Twitter or whatever, but there's always like the if memes about like Justin Herbert. It's like he's if this happened or if he did this. It's like that is James. Like James on paper, like if you don't do deep dive on James's game, you'd be like, yeah, he's probably just a solid good player. But he's so flawed because he gets in his own way for no reason. He should be really good. He should be.
You'd think he'd be good, and you say all these hypotheticals like maybe if he did this, he could have done better. But my thing is, he volunteered to go up as a pawn and does it again. So there's no if for me.
Yeah, like he's
no. You can't do it twice. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
James is just like a very like rigid player. I feel like when he has targets in mind, he doesn't sway from them. I mean, he targeted George pretty much the entire game, and then he kind of had Janelle in his like the back of his mind of someone he should target, and he just went through with that. I kind of feel like when we talked about Howie, Howie's a player that feels like he has to play with like two sides of the house. James is a player that feels like he always needs to be in the middle. And so whenever he feels like there's not another side that he can run back to in case, his original group blows up, he just doesn't he can't compute. He can't do anything aside from, be a middle player. And I feel like that's kind of his issue.
Yeah, because I love that you said that because I think James is always a person that's going to revert to playing this middle position, like you said, Peter, but that isn't the good position for James. He's so bad at playing the middle. It doesn't come naturally to him. You're an athletic guy who can win comps all the time. Playing the middle isn't going to stop people from targeting you. Yeah. You also don't have the best social game to be playing the middle. How instead do you think James should play? Like, what other strategies do you think
he should play more like a leader? Like, I feel like if Kaser goes home, you should be able to be more trustworthy with Janelle and Howie and be able to like, I get that Danielle and Janelle had like such a bad relationship, but you should be able to like bring Danielle in and, replace members of your alliance who are going out with other side members who you've been working on like in the background. And the fact that, James, he just can't do that. He feels like he needs other threats on the other side because he views himself as such a big threat. He thinks, oh, I need shields. I need people to protect me. But in reality, he's just such a big threat himself.
When the rift happened, yeah, maybe he could have healed the rift, taken a page out of Howie's book and tried to play peacemaker and keep them together. But no, instead he runs off with Danielle to join an alliance that he's on the bottom of.
Yeah, I think maybe James's best case scenario is he's like Jeff in Big Brother 13, like where he's just like the core of the alliance, but then at some point he's gonna get in his own way because of his personality.
Exactly. And I just don't think James even has the gall to make big moves that Jeff isn't afraid to make.
Yeah.
You know, he's always, if James was in BB13, I think he would target an Adam Park, you know?
Oh, he would target Adam.
Oh, yeah.
And Adam would love James. But why are you targeting me? I don't understand like why I'm being targeted.
You don't deserve to be here, you know? These are the votes. Again, there's not really much to discuss. As soon as James is on the block, he's going home. I'm pretty sure this vote distribution happens with whoever he's up against, unless it's Danielle, in which case it's unanimous.
Yeah.
But that's it. What we have to say about both these players, to sign them off and to think about them in the Big Brother lexicon. Like, how do you feel about Howie and James now that we've dissected their BB7 games?
Yeah, they're both very flawed players, but like for the exact opposite reasonings. It's very interesting talking about them back to back because it's like they're so closely aligned, but they do the exact opposite of each other, where one is so inactive and socially like just rubs people the wrong way and keeps people out. And one is so active that they socially just distrust him because of how he's always talking game with people.
Everything you just said, and as characters, like I just love the Sovereign Six. Like these guys paved the way, and they might be, I don't know much about like James and Howie now. I don't know if they're like horrible people or whatever. But I mean, I just love them as characters, and I think that this is, you know, some icons right here. Like, girl.
Yeah. Okay. Watching this back, Howie is someone that I never need to say play Big Brother again. I think that's just something. I'm so sorry. I think he's such a hit or miss. I think he's kind of a hit or miss type of personality, and I'm just not the type of personality that appreciates it. I think if there was more to Howie, like this whole like obnoxious gameplay that he does, I think could be interesting if there was more to it, or maybe if he played individually sometimes. But it just seems like he's always willing to do whatever Janelle or Howie tell him to do. Not Howie, Kaysa tell him to do, and I'm just not really a fan of that. I'd rather everyone play individually and everyone showcase themselves a bit more. With James, actually, I came around to liking him a bit more. I think because he takes himself so seriously. When I was reading the feeds, I made the initial mistake of taking him seriously because he talks such a big game. But especially in that last round when he's throwing tantrums and getting Alison Grodner of all people in the DR to come talk to him, and he's so whiny and he's so pathetic. I kind of find it humorous in a way. Kind of like a Vince, you know.
I would love to see these two play again. I think it's very possible. I mean, Janelle and Kayser have come back so many times. Why can't we get James or Howie?
Yeah, I don't need Howie back personally. I just like he'll be Howie again.
But Howie, but Peter, there are so many people that have come back. You know, do we need Howie to come back for a third time when you have so many?
Yes, like I would love to see some more Sovereign Six come back. Like we have not seen James and Howie back in so long. Like Janelle and Kayser came back for All Stars. Like why can't they? Like we need to see more.
And this is what I would say when it comes to James. I know people don't like James because James is on Twitter. James be saying some things on Twitter. Okay,
is he still a Trumpy?
Yes, to my knowledge, he is.
Oh, he's not turncoat yet.
I don't need James as like a person, like. But at the end of the day, when it comes to reality TV and as a TV personality, if James was on Big Brother again or on a different show again, I would at least be intrigued and be like, I would want to see what would happen
because he'd be active.
Yeah, I think he still could be a good TV character.
He active, all right, girl.
Apparently
he needs to be active in the Big Brother house, not on the apps.
Not in the Big Brother streets.
I heard he's really active on these Big Brother dating streets. So at least he used to be.
So
I had my player comparison for them.
Oh, please, yeah, go for it.
It's the one with Howie is very, very weird. I don't know if you'll get because Howie's he's a pretty bad socially. He's playing for someone else to win, and I think this person is a better player than Howie. But he's kind of like Brittany Hoops, how Brittany was just playing for Michael to win, like that whole game.
I see that. That's
and
creative.
Like, people didn't like Brittany, like socially, except for like the leftovers. But a lot of people did not like Brittany. They didn't really respect her. But at least Brittany was active. Howie is not active. But I think the fact that Brittany, like, once she got to the jury phase, accepted she was gonna lose and was okay for playing for Michael to win.
Yeah.
Is just how he played Big Brother 7. And then with James, this one's also probably a reach, but someone who has like moments of thinking strategically, but they keep like betraying their own allies for no reason. And socially, it's like hit or miss with people. He's very emotional. It's low-key Blue Kim from Big Brother 25.
Yes, you kind of ate with both of them. I see the comparisons. They're so good. They're so
I
good.
could see it. I would like to see
I
it.
just remember every time Blue, Jag, and America would talk in that early game of the feeds, like, oh my god, my trio is going to activate. They're going to lock in, and then Blue would rat everything out in that conversation. I'd be so pissed.
Okay, but tell me, a modern version of James would say you have to take out the big targets eventually, right?
He would say that.
He would
Yeah.
say that. They are the same. Oh, well, I never would have thought of that. But when we're breaking it down, I so see it. I love it. Pete, did you have any comparisons? Because I don't.
I mean, I don't have any hot takes. I compare Howie a lot to Fessy because I think that the Faute alliance
Yeah.
gets compared to Sovereign Six a lot, and then Howie and Fessy kind of fit that same archetype. Big strong guy, kind of dumb, flirts with the gay boy, has a blonde girl who he's gonna protect all the way through, makes stupid decisions. And I compared James. This is kind of like an
That's a good
odd
one.
one. I kind of compare James to like Nick from BB21, if that makes sense. Just
That
in the
makes
sense
sense.
of
Ooh, that's another great one.
just in the
That's
sense of
another
like
great one.
he's so obsessed with wanting to play with like the outsiders and also with like grateful, like just this player who's stuck in the middle and can't like pick a side. Like those are
Wait,
the
if we're
comparisons I would
comparing sovereigns to Faute, is like Case of the Swaggy, Janelle is
Yeah.
the Haley,
make. Yes.
Howie is the Fessy,
Yes.
which means James is the Scotty, or James the
Yes.
Caitlyn?
James would be the Scott.
The Scotty.
I want
Is
James
Scotty
to be
part of
Caleb.
Faute, or is he just like aligned?
He's an affiliate.
Okay, he's an affiliate. Okay, but
What are they called? The Hive?
I don't remember. I think so.
And some might say Sarah is the Steve. So
Sarah. Who's Rachel? Rachel's Rachel? No, Rachel's level 6.
Rockstar.
Yeah,
Rockstar.
would
Rachel
be
could be Rockstar. Okay.
Oh no. Is it a hot take if I say Swaggy C might be a better player than Kaiser? Let me stop. He only played like 1 week.
No, we talked about Case's game. That was horrible.
Well, I mean, Kaiser's played 3 times and has been like what pre-jury all
All
three.
3
So
times.
yeah,
It's
I mean, I
alright.
don't think that's that hot of a take.
Should we rate these people? Wait,
Yeah.
let's do this. Oh,
What up, Kaiser?
all right, Peter. Give us your rating for Howie, please.
Howie to me is a 3.
A 3.
He's a 3. Oh, Drake's looking at me like, oh no. Okay, to me he's a 3 because when I'm looking at like 5 being a replacement average level player. To me, Howie is like perfectly below replacement average. So I would put that like at a 3. And
Yeah.
when I look at somebody like a 2 or a 1, I look at them having like 0 win equity. I could see Howie having like a little win equity.
I get what you're saying. I think with me, I'm gonna go for 2 because
Okay.
with 1 equity, I really don't know if he makes it to the end. I can see Janelle voting for him. I don't know if James would honor season 6. He would have to be next to someone.
Yeah.
He would have to be next to like a Chicken George. But even then, people might.
No, I'm
Chicken
pretty
George.
sure Chicken George would beat Howie in the final 2 from what they're saying on the feeds.
Yeah, and the fact that Howie should have been this final 2 GOAT and he still gets sniped out like early jury. He's also inactive. If Howie was like at least a little bit more active, I could do like a 3 or higher.
Yeah.
I could see Howie beating Erica.
I don't think so. I think Boogie definitely votes Erica in that instance. I think Will probably does as well. Janelle definitely votes Howie. But George votes Erica. I'm fairly certain. Marcellus votes Erica. Erica has 4. That's enough. She wins. Yeah. I thought Erica beats no one. I think she beats Howie, unfortunately.
I
For
stand
me-
by 3.
You stand by the 3? Okay. Hey, he did make it into the jury phase, which not everyone can say.
Twice.
Twice. Correct.
Better than
Um,
Kaiser?
At this point, I'm scoring based on how I've relatively scored everyone else. I think Howie played better than an Acomis, just about. But again, I don't think he played to the level of a Marcellus. I just don't like the fact that Howie doesn't play for himself ever. It's always what Janelle wants to do, and it's always what Kesa wants to do. And then everyone loses respect for him. And then he's also not a likable person in the house. So he's also making himself a target when there's no reason he should be. At least people don't see him as a threat, and he had allies that trusted him and wanted to keep him safe. So, and I don't think anyone was ever really Oh no, that's not true. People were targeting Howie separately from Janelle, but I don't know if that was ever really going to come to fruition. So I'm gonna be the mediator between you two, and I'm gonna give Howie the 2.5.
You know what's crazy? If you feel like if you get to the end, Howie gets to the end in most seasons, he almost always gets like a half the votes because he's always there with like his alliance.
But you said that before. You were like, Howie, if Howie's in a game, he's gonna make it a split game.
Yeah, but I mean, like he's always gonna
Maybe,
get if he ever made a final two, he would always be like so close to the win because his alliance always gets like to the end with him.
Mm-hmm. Do you wanna start us off with James as well, Pisa?
Ooh, now that's a harder one. Okay, so
I think I know what I'm gonna give him.
James. I think I'm gonna go with the 5.
The 5.
That's too high.
Holy
I'm gonna go with
moly.
the 5. What? This is not crazy to give James a 5. Is James not a replacement average level player to you? Like, to me, he is.
I think
he's got the comps to back it up. He can make deals when he needs to. He has a little bit of strategic chops. I mean, sure, he's a bad social player, but I mean, he's made jury both times, and he's able to get pretty far.
I think the thing with James is I think the 5 isn't ridiculous if he didn't volunteer for the block more than once this
Twice.
I think that's the main thing. You're like, oh, I put him higher.
Throwing
Is
Janelle
this
under
like
the
just a
bus when he
7
never
game
needs
or
to.
overall as a player?
Targeting Chicken George. This is for the game he played on BB7.
Oh, on 7? Okay, then I'd go down to a 4.
Okay, that's a little more reasonable.
Yeah,
I think portfolio overall, I would say a 5. But this season in general, I would say a 4. I would go down 1.
I
don't think he played like optimally.
I'm gonna do a 3.5.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to remember what I gave other people, and I think that's like my second highest rating, like my second highest one so far. And I think the only person I would put him below, like I think he'd be above everyone but Marcellus, and then they're probably still kind of similar. I just think James, he made too many mistakes that I think he could have avoided and done the right move. And it's like I can always talk about ifs or what ifs, but at the end of the day, he made the wrong decisions, and he fully believes in those decisions he made. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm thinking positives for James. He was active. He talked to people that BB6 didn't talk to. And, he did have a good position at some point, especially on those later weeks where he was going against BB6 because he wasn't happy with what they were doing. And he got some sort of camaraderie with the floaters and they were able to reach a common goal. However, I just think James wants to play the middle, but then he's always choosing sides. I don't understand why he's always throwing Janelle under the bus when Janelle will keep him safe. He's giving so much ammo for Chilltown never to trust him. Chilltown never trusted him, and then he trusts them like throughout the majority of his game for no reason. He does do a great job solidifying a relationship with Danielle. However, that relationship gets him on the block week 5, nearly about to leave, where Danielle has no real power to save him. And then he does the exact same thing when Boogie's HOH, where he becomes the target and sends himself home. And why, as well, his HOH week, he's targeting George, and then he's going back on a safety deal with Jace he made. It's just all like a huge mess to the point where I'm like, you just don't really have that logical of a brain, unfortunately. So although I don't think he's to the level of Howie, I do think the pros and cons outweigh him, and I'm going to give him the 3 for his game on BB7. And that brings him to a 3.5. So I think he's second highest. I think Marcellus is above him, and that's it. And I think Howie's about the middle.
James, a 3?
Yes.
No, I'm playing. That's not that big of a difference.
There's 1 point between us.
Yeah, that's so bad. I'm gonna give James an 8. I'm just playing. Imagine.
Oh my god, I would have been mad. I would have kicked you.
This summer, okay. I'm gonna switch it up. Hit up on Legacy Watch.
Right. Do you want to say anything else before we do the admin and say goodbye? No. Okay.
I have nothing to say on these 2 men. Shout out to Howie. It's Pride Month. That's his sister right there. That's all I gotta say.
Loki, yes, he is. Happy Bisexual Pride Month to Howie. Yes, so we're doing this a little bit because 2 people were evicted on Tuesday. We did them in 1 episode. So I don't know when you'll actually be seeing this, but hopefully it'll be before Thursday's episode. So if you are, make sure to catch up on the 3 episodes. You can see Neil Patrick Harris in the Big Brother house if you want.
Why wasn't he on Celeb?
Was he?
Why wasn't he? He should have been on Big Brother.
He should have been. He loves Big Brother.
Do you think
Did he
he's
come back
watching?
for 16 or something? I know Kathy Griffin was there. I can't remember.
I kind of feel like he has been on before, again. After, why do I feel like he has?
I'm sure.
But Neil Patrick Harris can say that he's fan of old school BB, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous. But we will have another game review on Friday, which will be live. Because who knows, maybe there's a double eviction on Thursday. You'll have to wait and see. Please join the Discord. We promise that we have more than 61 members. We'll be chatting in there every day, especially with the BB28 rumors flying around. If you want the drama, then if you want the tea, then please head in there and we'll be really happy to talk with you, share anything you find. I'm really curious. Of course, subscribe to the Patreon. If you want to see more content from Pharaoh and Lee, you can give $3 and you will have stacks and stacks of content ready for you. They do the reality tea every month where they tell you about the goings on in the gossip realm of reality TV. They have the Kingdom's Choice where you can vote for them to talk about literally anything of your choosing. And they also have a lot of Love Island content going on. So if you're watching Love Island, you'll definitely get some bang for your buck. Here is the schedule for June. Many things to come. We got the Traitors straight after this, which I know Drake will be hosting. Well, never mind. We're filming this before the Traitors. I don't know when you'll see this. Yeah. So check that out. Peter, you down for Big Brother?
Oh, hell yeah.
We got vets
up in here.
Yeah.
You guys think this Love Island schedule's a lot? Wait till we get the Big Brother season. There's going to be a lot of the same
over.
So,
agreed. But yeah, that's it, guys. So thanks for keeping it real with the Kingdom. We out.
Bye.